Welcome to Good Friends, Good Games. It is July 2nd, 2022, and it is 10:40 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm Eric Anthony, and I got Zenith with me.
Yo.
So, we resolved all these technical issues. You guys don't see that end of it, but we had a bunch of technical issues, and we've resolved them.
It never happened. It was a fabrication.
It was a fabrication. It didn't exist. Tommy Lee Jones came up to my front door, zapped that little laser in my eye.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then I have LASIK now, but now I don't remember anything. So, anyway, let's roll with this. Let's get some administrative stuff out of the way. Obviously, you're just seeing me and Zenith if you're watching us on Twitch right now. Hannah is out sick. She won't be with us today. And then Leshki had a personal family matter that she had to tend to, so she's out with us today also. So, me and Zenith are going to hold down the fort here. We can do it. We've discussed this, and we're like, we're going to hold down this fort. It's ours.
Yeah,
So-
but just a little bit of rebranding as the Fuck It Do It Live podcast.
Yeah, I can do a live podcast. Fucker. That, you know what I love about this show is I can cuss all I want.
Yeah.
Eric and Hannah is a little bit of a different vibe. We do PG-13 on that one, but I cuss up a storm in this one.
Exactly. On this show, I can say, fuck Eric. Yeah.
There's no greater satisfaction when we upload this and I get to check the mature content button. Is there offensive content in this podcast? Yes.
It has my name on it. Of course it's going to be offensive.
Yeah, it's going to be offensive. Anyway, I've been, I had a good morning. I woke up, girlfriend slept. I slept well. She made me breakfast this morning and it was A+. I will shout out to my girlfriend, A+ breakfast this morning.
That's absolutely awesome.
I had a cup of coffee and then the coffee did its coffee thing this morning. And I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't drink coffee during the podcast as did today. It's like hit or miss. I don't know how people are with coffee, but with me, it's like hit or miss. And it's like some days I drink it and I'm fine. Some days I drink and I get, the coffee issues. So,
coffee affects me in a almost like the perfect harmonized way where when I need it to wake me up, it does that. When I need it to relax in the evenings, it does that. Like I can actually make a cup at around midnight and I can still sleep after that.
but does the coffee make it a diuretic for your body and you're just like, oh God?
We get to that point in the morning.
After the aftermath. So no more coffee for the remainder of the episode here. I'm just gonna drip feed myself Rockstar. Dude, I need to look at my caffeine intake. It's nuts. I've been with pre-workouts and energy drinks in the morning and stuff like I need to, and coffee, I need to double check and just be like, yo doc, I think I need to cut down.
Yeah. Non-stream days I'm at 2 a day. 2 coffees a day. And I'm talking about big mugs like these. This is a giant Hershey's mug.
Realistically, you're taking in about 4 cups of coffee.
And on actual stream days, because today, I have a stream after we're done the podcast. So this is a 3 or 4 cups of coffee. And I'm talking about huge cups of coffee, max setting on the Keurig machine. So
Sheesh. I was reading, I read Dave Grohl's biography, and one of the issues, he went to the hospital for heart chest pains and stuff like that. And apparently he talked to his doctor and he was telling his doctor he drank 5 pots of coffee a day.
Ooh.
Whoa. I was like, damn. Cause he's basically most rock stars live like this that are on heavy touring schedules and all that stuff. Cause you don't sleep very well. You're on a bus and then your time changes and all that kind of stuff. Cause you're going across the country. So he's just drip feeding coffee into his body, and his body was finally yeah, dude, you got to stop. But it's wild. Okay. So yeah, Hannah's out today. She's out sick. Leshki's handling a family matter. We wish her well. She will be back, when she's ready to come back. So we will we'll work out those situations as they come along. So yeah, me and Zenith are holding down the fort. Hope you ready for, you guys, well no, you had a holiday yesterday. It's Canada Day yesterday.
Yep, Canada Day.
Canada Day. So the reason I'm learning about this is because at work we picked up a company in Canada and we're acquiring them. So like now I'm learning about all these random Canada holidays. Like I knew Boxing Day was a thing, but I was like, oh, Canada Day. And I know Canada Thanksgiving's like different from American Thanksgiving.
Yep, in October as opposed to November.
Yeah, so like
I kind of like it that way because like it gives you like a proper break before the Christmas break, because I feel like in like September, October, there really isn't anything.
See, that's interesting. We get like Memorial Day, I think, in September, right before the holiday, and then we go into Thanksgiving and Christmas. But like after Christmas and New Year's are done, we don't get a holiday up until May. So like,
you get Easter off, right?
Most places don't give it to us.
Okay.
It's not. I don't think it's a national holiday in a sense.
Yeah. We get Good Friday off, but like most places don't actually give you the Easter Monday off.
Yeah.
But we also just recently came out with this new holiday in the last few years called Family Day, and it's just randomly in February.
I think you guys make up holidays low key to just.
I don't spend. I don't spend Family Day with family. Let's be honest here.
Yeah. Like I low key like the more I hear Canada talk about their holidays and their holiday schedule and like how some provinces will celebrate a holiday but another province won't, and I'm like, these fools just make up holidays to take days off. They're just like,
I blame Quebec for that. They just like being different.
Yeah, I'm like, they're making stuff up just so they could do a thing. Okay, let's go ahead and let's talk about some video games. Let's see what we got. Zenith, what have you been playing?
Well, I'm playing a whole bunch of things. So, recently I finished Elden Ring, and
so tell me about your Elden Ring experience before you press it. So, like, was it worth it? Was the juice worth the squeeze?
Yes, and then some. Like, I can't really. I can't even like fully describe the kind of experience that I had with the game, because like it was pure satisfaction. I never felt more compelled to fully explore the entire world, and the difficulty was worth it. Mind you though, like near the end, it felt like it had an unhappy medium where because in the game you get the option to summon in like a monster or thing to like help you fight. So but when I get that kind of help, the game actually becomes a bit too easy. But if I do solo, then near the end I'm just absolutely struggling, because like I went with this one boss. I got him down to half health beginning phase 2, and took him 3 seconds to. I didn't even get a chance to react to him. He just picks me up and pile drives me right into the ground, and then does it again like 2 seconds later, and I'm dead immediately. So and it was fun. It was really fun, and I can't wait to go back and play it again. It's gonna take me some time, because like I played it so much.
How many hours do you have in it? Like, how many hours do you have in it to finish it?
I finished my first playthrough with 170 hours.
Oh my god!
And I pretty much did it all on stream too. Like, there's so much to do, and there's probably like a bunch more that I didn't get to miss, or like there a side quest that I could have done, but I accidentally killed a person, and oops, I can't continue that side quest now.
Oh my god! So like you do that and it's done. Like that side quest is done.
It really just depends, because like there's some conditions where like for example, if you want to do to like help this one person, but if you get to like a certain point in the game, if you don't help them by then or speak to them, then they either just leave or you come back to them and somebody else has killed them.
That's wild. So I did the thing you recommended. I actually took the time and did this. So Zenith, if you didn't catch the last episode, Zenith's recommendation was like, okay, I can't be Margit right now because I'm only like level 15 or something like that. So Zenith's recommendation is to go out and explore and level up and kind of do your thing, right? So I did it. I sat down. I put about 4 hours of just exploration into this game. And I was doing good. I got up to like 4,000 runes or whatever, and then I died. And then I went to go get those runes back, and then I died trying to get those runes back, so I lost out on the 4,000 runes.
Oh, Eric.
And then Eric. I was like, oh, that sucks, right? And then I did the thing again, and then I got up to like 6,000 runes, and then the process happened again. And then after that, I was kind of like, okay, like I got frustrated, and I was like, okay. I got frustrated, and then I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do this for the rest of the evening. Because I was already having a shit week at work, and I thought this would relax me. And then
no,
I made
absolutely
the
not.
wrong move. But I will say, the patience of what Elden Ring has taught me patience-wise, I am now expressing that patience in other games. Where I'm like, okay, this isn't working out for me. I need to be more patient. I need to actually take the time to do this stuff. And I was like, okay, I get I still think Elden Ring is like a brilliantly designed, the way they have you do things, and while it seems on the surface is frustrating, it's actually very like rewarding. I get it and I understand it. So I appreciate your sentiments to Elden Ring. I actually, out of all those Souls games, is probably the best one I've played.
Well, for sure. And like I've pretty much played the ball.
Someone argues, people will argue that Bloodborne is better, but
yeah, I can see why they would say that. Also, you mentioned that you lost 4,000, 6,000 runes.
Yeah.
Well, Eric, you sweet summer child, you have no idea.
I'm sure you
like,
were in
literally
6 figures and then died.
Yeah, because I think what happened was I got about almost 200,000 runes. I died, and then when I'm on my way to get back, I do a wrong turn, and I just stupidly fell down to my death like 5 seconds after I died, and whoops, I lost them all. And chat did not make me forget about that. Did you guys? I see you all.
There's a discussion about Oreos in the chat right now. Someone mentioned Oreos, and I'm like, you know what? I could go for an Oreo right now.
Have you tried those like cinnamon ones?
Which ones?
It's like a cinnamon roll Oreo.
I have not tried that one yet, but
it's so
the one I had that was awesome. I had the carrot cake Oreo, because for those that don't know, carrot cake is like my favorite cake. I'm not a birthday cake person, so like it's all about carrot cake for me. Like that's my cake, right? And they had carrot cake Oreo, so I'm like, oh snap, I'm in. And I'm like, this is amazing, because the carrot cake, like, it has that cream cheese frosting taste to the frosting part, and I'm like, okay, I'm about it. And then, but I have not tried that one yet. There was another one. There was a mint one that's really good. I forget, but I have not tried the cinnamon roll one yet.
Yeah, they have the double fudge.
See, I'm not a chocolate person, really.
Yeah, I'm not really either.
This will be surprising, maybe surprising. Like when I go to buy Oreos, I buy like the white cookie Oreos, because like I'm not a chocolate person really. And I've gotten, as I've like changed my diet over the years and stuff like that, like double stuff and triple stuff Oreos, those are not my thing. Like that is way too much sugar, like in one bite. So
yeah.
And it's funny because we're talking about Elden Ring, and the only Oreos I have available to me right now are a sealed pack of Game of Thrones Oreos from like 2018 or whatever the show finished. I'll make it.
There's actually a sword in the game that has like a big reference to Game of Thrones.
Does it have what the heck? See, the camera froze again. Does it have a wolf on it?
No, but basically it's a giant great sword, and it has like the throne that's in like the Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, the Iron Throne.
Yeah, basically it's a sword that looks like the Iron Throne, where there's just a whole bunch of different swords that like are all fused together to make one giant sword.
That's badass. Okay, now I'm in. See, now I want to go play some more. And it'll only take me, it'll only knock off 20 years of my life, but we will have a big gigantic sword.
Better yet, you can find the game stupidly early. Like, you probably... it won't take you long to find it.
Okay, I'm going to do some hunting. I'm going to play this. I got a 3-day weekend. I might do some hunting. So on top of Elden, you finished Elden Ring. You're satisfied. You were relieved. You're going to step away from it for a while, right? And move on to some other stuff?
Yeah.
I understand that sentiment. Well, tell me about the... I want to hear about the Donkey Kong 64 randomizer.
Oh, so I got to play this yesterday, and I gotta say it was very refreshing in the sense of where, because I haven't played Donkey Kong 64 in about maybe 15, at least 15, 20 years. So it's been a hot minute. So I can really remember anything now. Thankfully, like the game doesn't require you to collect every single golden banana in the game, because there's like 201.
I haven't touched that game in forever, and I think the only reason I couldn't touch it was because I didn't have the little expansion pack thing that you put in the N64.
Yeah,
I didn't have one of those. I asked Dad, and Dad was like, "Yeah, no." He looked like your dad. I don't know how you are with your parents or whatever, but like my dad would look like one of those. He'd look at it and be like, "Why do I need this?" And then just like, well, it adds memory to the game, and he's like, "But do you need it?"
Like, yes.
And I was like, "Yes," but no, I didn't have it. I think Majora's Mask needed the expansion pack too.
Yeah. I think those are the only two games that I know of that use the extra memory pack.
Perfect Dark, that was the other one. Perfect Dark was the other one that needed it.
Right.
Because it had the FX chip or whatever Rare called it at the time. But yeah, but okay, so you haven't touched Donkey Kong. So how's the randomizer? Is it really, really random, or is it kind of eh?
I mean, it was a good amount to where I can definitely see myself coming back to it, because it's got like a lot of different settings. So like I made myself like a pretty baby seed where I think I only needed a total of like 10 golden bananas, but it wasn't so much like wasn't so much that requirement. It was more so I was trying to re-roll seeds, like, you know what, fuck it, let's go for 30 today. But the randomizer kept having issues where it would fail, because like if the requirements are too high, then the randomizer itself won't actually think about how to place things logically, if that makes sense. So I had a lot of fun. It does stuff like all like the Kong abilities, like they're all shuffled between all the stores. So like, for example, one of the last abilities that I got was Tiny Kong's shrink ability, which is like one of the most important ones in the entire game. Like I didn't find that until like the very last level.
I think randomizers really do test how well you know the game, especially like the Zelda ones, because I don't play very many randomizers, but I've seen you play a ton of randomizers, and if you really, really know the games, you'll be like, oh, like was it A Link to the Past? You know you need the ice wand in order to finish. I think it's the second to last dungeon, if I remember right, where you have to, make the ice block and send it down. Like if you don't remember that you need the ice wand, you're kind of like screwed. Or you get to that dungeon, but you don't have the ice wand yet because it didn't randomly distribute it to you yet. You're kind of like screwed, and you've got to go figure out how to get the ice wand. And it's like, it's brilliant stuff. It's a test of my patience, where I'm kind of like, and I've played a ton of Zeldas, but like I don't know them in and out, like left to right, nook and cranny.
Yeah, the interesting part about like a lot of the randomizers is what I use. For example, Twilight Princess. I played the game so many times, but there are so many chests in the game and so many individual things of where you get like any kind of item that it is like I could have I have a pretty good memory, but there's no way I can just remember everything, because like once you pick up like a new item, like your second claw shot, then that adds like 20 or 30 different things to check, and I can't mentally process that. So what you use a tracker, because I played a Paper Mario randomizer for the N64, and that one was so good, but there was so much about the game that I didn't know, like all those hidden blocks, hidden panels. I would have known that they didn't exist if it wasn't for using a tracker. So
the tracker, is it a built-in tool into the randomizer? Like they add the tracker?
Nope. Oh. You either have one you can download to desktop, or it's like a web browser, and pretty much what it does is, aside from like displaying like like a thing is like, for example, for the Donkey Kong 64 randomizer, anytime I would get like a new power-up ability, or if I found a new Kong, I just clicked on their icon and then it will just display. It's like, hey, I have this, and then I'll have like little X second screen, which is basically a map. And it'll tell you about the things that you haven't gotten yet, or the things that are available with what you have. So in the sense of Zelda, Link to the Past, like say you get the like the upgraded the maximum upgraded power glove, then it will show you on like the world map, because it'll actually be a picture of like the when you're in Link to the Past, you press the button and it shows you the entire world map.
Yeah.
So you'll basically see like a whole bunch of like blocks show up, showing you where you can go and what you can get with the now that you have the gloves.
Oh, okay. So you're not completely in the dark with the randomizer. There are tools available to help you get through it. Because I would be done. Like I'd be like, oh crap, where do I go now? Because all I have is this. So is the trick to the randomizer to find all the tools first before you go tackle the dungeons? Is that kind of like the...
Yeah, I generally try and find all the items that I need before I go into any dungeons, because the thing that sucks about when you go into dungeons is that once you go in and you're like halfway in, then you're like, oh crap, I don't have like the hammer or the hook shot, which you actually need to beat the dungeon. Yeah. Okay, so now I gotta head on out. Then you have to, like, you can save and quit and just like, escape, but like just trying to get back to where you are, sometimes it's like it's just a bit of pain in the ass trying to like get back to where you were. So like I don't like going in and out of dungeons multiple times, except when you're dealing with a setting called Key Sanity, where dungeon keys are shuffled anywhere in the world, and sometimes it requires you to go into a dungeon and say, all right, I only have one key, I gotta really make this work. And they say, oh shoot, I found a key for an entirely different dungeon. All right, fine, I gotta go over there. Thanks, game.
Wow. I'm going to try one of these randomizers one of these days. And if you're listening here on Apple or Spotify, you can actually watch Zenith play these randomizers on twitch.tv, Legend of Zenith, and watch him hammer out these randomizers. It's actually pretty amazing to watch, especially when he gets frustrated.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, when he gets frustrated.
It's not hard.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh God, Jesus. I don't know what it is. You get so frustrated, but you keep your cool.
I guess it's a way of me being like, I'm fiery and passionate about games, but I guess I still put the Zen in Zenith.
Look,
that makes sense.
Let's put it this way, okay? If I got into some of the positions you get in some of these games, I would be at Best Buy buying a new monitor and a new controller, and then having to explain to Pal what the hell happened, because I've come close. I forget which one was it. Was Dark Souls 3. Like, it was Dark Souls 3 where I was like, fuck this game, and I threw the controller and I was like, I'm done. I didn't like haul it across the room, but I like slammed it on the desk and I was like, I'm done with this, and I left. So like, it's one of those things, like I said, if I got in some of these positions you've been in with your patience, I would, like I said, I would have been buying a new TV and a new controller at Best Buy, because like, I'm like, well, crap. You ever done something stupid like that where you're like, oh crap, and then you have to like eat your own mistake because you know when to blame but yourself?
Yeah. One day I was streaming Bloodborne, and I kept dying in this one area because I kept being invaded, or I would try and I kept losing my blood echoes, which is what they call in blood.
Yeah, it's like
which
the
is basically
rune
your souls.
Yeah, the souls are the runes. Yeah.
And I died at this one area, and like back then I had like my chair was like one of the ones that had the arms. Like I took the arms off my gaming chairs these days. And the reason for that being is during that stream, I was live on Twitch. I got so mad, I slammed both my arms down on the armchairs, and it kind of like yanked out the cord of my headphones, my expensive $160 pair of Sennheisers. And I was like, guys, I can't hear anything. I can't hear the game. I have no headphones. We're done. Be right back. Go to the store. Fuck everything.
It sucks. I'm telling you, it sucks. Like, I ate like $100 one day because I was doing maintenance work on all my machines, right? And I had a backup hard drive that I had all the backups on. And I was just being like late. I was like, oh, this is the only USB cable I have. Screw it, right? So I put it, and it was dangling off the table. And I was like, oh, I got to go to the kitchen. I went to the kitchen, and I yanked the hard drive right off the table and thunk right on the floor.
Oh, no.
So if you don't know, hard drives have moving mechanical parts in them. We're not talking SSDs. We're talking like old school hard drives. The big, 5 terabyte they have moving mechanical parts in them. There's a needle, there's gears, and all that kind of stuff. If you drop it while it is moving and functioning, it's a little needle that writes, just like a record player, it's a little needle that's writing data on a platter. If you drop the thing or thunk it or bump it hard enough, it'll scratch that surface and your data on that section of the hard drive's toast. So I took this hard drive and I thunked it on the floor, and I was like, oh, crap. So the first thing I do is I get the hard drive off the floor. I unplug it so it stops spinning. And then I plug it, I give it a few minutes, and I plug it back in, and I pray, and I see what happens. The hard drive boots up, and the data is still readable, at least from what I can see. Some data is readable, right? So it's like, okay, cool. At that point right then and there, as long as you know you have access to the drive, you run to Best Buy, you run to Micro Center, so-and-so computers, wherever you get your computer parts from, and you go buy another hard drive. Go buy another hard drive and start transferring data over. And I, like, Pal came by to drop something off, and I was like, you can't see the look on my face if you're listening, but I had this like sad puppy dog look in my face, and I was like, I gotta go to Best Buy. She's like, what happened? I said, I dropped a 5 terabyte hard drive on the floor, and my backup data is at risk.
Oh.
So we go to Best Buy, and it's like, okay, there's one there, $100, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I grab it, and that's that. I grab it, and then I go home and I start transferring data. Because that, if you ever drop a hard drive hard enough and it boots up, go buy another hard drive right then and there and start booting data and start covering data over.
So I must ask, Eric, on your way to Best Buy, did you like go in there without your shoes as if you're doing the walk of shame?
No, but you have that. I had that whole like, you know, when like you clean your house and you don't like wear. You wear like the wrinkly ass white t-shirt and your stretch shorts and all your house cleaning gear, and you got your, if you don't know you're Mexican, your chanclas on. Chanclas are sandals. You got your sandals on. That's basically how I was walking into the Best Buy. Like, it's like the same thing when you like work on your car and then you have to go to an AutoZone or whatever. You go in there and you're just covered in oil and dirt, and you're like, yeah, I need an oil cap or whatever.
Yeah, it's I don't give a shit how I look like. Just give it to me, please.
Just give it to me. So like I grab the hard drive, I come home, I start crying. But that's what I'm talking about. Like where it's one of those situations where you screw yourself up and you're like, God damn it. And you can't yell at anybody else. Like it's your fault. Pal will even warn me. She'll be like, put it down and walk away. And I'm like, no, I can do it. I just said I'm in that mode. I'm gonna get through it. And then you screw up and you break something, and then you're like, well, crap. Like it cost you $100 pair of headphones. What can you do? You know, like, but it sucks. It sucks. Don't do it, people. Follow your instincts and realize maybe I shouldn't do this, and then bonk. But yeah, randomizers and your patience is ungodly. I don't have the patience that you do.
Thank you. I mean, you should see when I play on crowd control.
Just in life, your patience in life is. I've gotten firsthand experience of your patience in life, and I'm like, I don't know how this guy does it. I would have left me in the middle of TwitchCon 2017 in Long Beach or whatever. I would have left me on the train tracks and been like,
nah. It takes a lot more than that just to like get me to, to run away.
But I've heard some of the stuff that does annoy you, and you're kind of like, that's kind of petty in comparison to the stuff you do put up with. So I don't get it, but
yeah. But at the end of the day, I don't have time for to be like upset or just annoyed by things. So
tell me about you went retro too. You're gone retro. You're doing some retro Fire Emblem.
Yep. So have you played any Fire Emblem games?
No, they are on my list of things to do. And I went to I have a comic book swap meet I go to, and there's a video game vendor where I talk to him, and I usually do my retro purchases from these guys because they're just great guys. Shout out to the Shackables if you ever hear this. And I looked at the cost of the GameCube one, whichever one it is, Path or Radiance or whatever the GameCube one is. I think it's Path or Radiance, right? I look at the price
Path
tag.
of Radiance, and then there's the sequel that is Radiant Dawn, which is for the Wii, which is the one that I'm currently playing. So like I'm actually playing the Wii one.
Are you doing it with the Wiimote and all that kind of stuff?
No, because like I'm definitely having a legitimate, experience without the Wii remote when playing this game.
Mm-hmm. I went to the guy I do business with, right? And I looked at the cost of Radiant Dawn or whatever the one is, Path of Radiance, whatever. And I looked at the price tag. I was like, yeah, nope, we don't need to play it that bad.
Yeah, oh god. Scalpers these days, I'm not sure if we can call them really scalpers. It's just like any kind of pawn shop or any kind of like retro like store that like sells you retro stores. The costs are absolutely ridiculous. Like what was it? Like I saw because like we Switch has been around for how many years? Like 5.5.
We're going on 6.
Yeah, it'll be 6 as of
was it 15 or 16?
March.
Is 2015 or 2016?
Yeah, 2017.
17. Okay, wow.
Is right.
Okay, so we're going on 6.
So the Wii U, a fully unopened Wii U, and let me just say, not a bad console, just so poorly marketed, and they didn't deliver on so many of the promises, and they didn't really utilize it properly.
It was a mistake. It was a Nintendo mistake.
Yeah. An unopened Wii U, a box like brand new Wii U, nobody's ever used it, selling for about like $700 USD.
That's Canadian dollars, right? So
USD.
Oh, you said USD. Oh my god,
USD.
They're out of their mind. Mine's sitting in a storage unit? If anyone, no, I probably wouldn't sell it, but mine's sitting in a storage unit.
And I think it's because it's like, hey, look, nostalgia. It's not open, but like you can have like a Wii U for $700. It's a relic. It's like, I don't freaking care enough about this.
Here's what's nuts about this whole retro thing. Before we talk about Fire Emblem here, but it kind of correlates to what we're talking about. So, a lot of my Zelda, I think I said this the last episode, I'm trying to build like an actual physical Zelda game collection. Like I'm working on getting all of them. A lot of the ones I bought probably 5, 6, maybe even 8 years ago. So like I bought the Game Boy Advance one, I bought the DS ones, I bought a lot of these things before people were going after them on those systems. I got lucky. I got Wind Waker at a Goodwill, and it was like $5. But I bought the case on eBay because it didn't have a case, and I bought it on eBay for like $12 for the case with the manual and stuff, right? So I got lucky there. The one that blows my mind to this day, Twilight Princess on the GameCube, was expensive when I bought it. And I bought it for $45 on back then, 6 years ago or whatever. I bought it for $45 on eBay, and that was a good deal. I was like, oh, that's a good deal. I'm going to jump on this, right? I bought it. My vendor is selling it for $90 USD. I was like, God damn. The other one that blows my mind, and this is funny because we're talking about the Wii U, Twilight Princess on the Wii U, the one that came with the wolf amiibo and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, this is without the wolf amiibo. That game is $85. I pre-ordered the Wii U one and I went and got it because I was like, oh, I need to get it. It's part of the collection, right? No one wanted the game. They had like 3 copies that were pre-ordered. No one wanted it because no one had a Wii U. So like it's and the Twilight Princess HD was a late release in the Wii U cycle because Breath of the Wild came shortly after that. So that game is super expensive. I was telling the guy, I was like, dude, I bought that pre-order like ages ago. And then he was like, yeah, that's what it's going for now. And then he got the wolf amiibo in the box from somebody else. And it's like $300 for that whole set now. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm just so fortunate I bought a lot of the stuff when I did. Zenith's got this look and chuckle on his face. What's going on?
So I just checked.
Yeah.
Twilight Princess HD for the Wii U, unopened, and it comes with the Wolf Link amiibo. And yes, this is Canadian, but $158.30.
Sounds about right. And
there's another game. There's another game that on here that was even more ridiculous, and it's like one of my favorite RPGs for yes. It's a game called Dokapon Kingdom.
Oh, I've heard of this.
And it's basically Mario Party meets like RPGs meets anime. And it's a lot of fun because you basically just travel around the world like rolling the dice and trying to get around takedowns and level up your character and whatnot. But this game, I bought it for the Nintendo Wii. It was about $60. On eBay, it is $284.
Jesus. That is nuts. Okay, so someone mentioned this in the chat just right now. They were like, I need to start looking at my video games. So here's what I would do if you are wanting to get into this retro collecting thing before we go back into Fire Emblem here. If you want to get into this retro collecting game, here's what I would do right now. I would hold off on GameCube, and I would hold off on GameCube, I would hold off on Nintendo 64, and I would hold off on Pokemon. Because right now, those things are at the highest point they've ever been in like price history right now. GameCube is out of control. What's gone down in price is old school 8-bit Nintendo has gone down in price significantly, and Super Nintendo is starting to come down in price. Yes. If you want to be absolutely at the dirt cheap lowest thing to get into now, start looking at your PlayStation 2s and start looking at your original Xbox. I might even.
Have you noticed the prices have actually gone down because of the Nintendo Online?
Like the prices are games? The prices are going down a little bit.
Because as long as like there's a way for people to play these games, those prices are going to go down. It's like, why would I spend $100 on this game where all I need is just the Nintendo Online thing?
The one thing I learned too is this stuff comes in waves, because what it is retro collecting and retro purchasing and stuff like that. It's built off nostalgia of the people in that age range. So, for example, people my age 10 years ago when I was buying a bunch of this stuff, Super Nintendo, etc., I longed for Super Nintendo and I longed for 8-bit Nintendo and Game Boy. So that's what I was collecting. And the prices were at a peak. Now we've come into this group now where the people beyond my age or younger than me that are in their late 20s, hitting early 30, they're nostalgic for GameCube and they're starting to get nostalgic for the original PlayStation and all that kind of stuff. So those prices come sky high because now those people in their mid to late 20s, early 30s now have jobs and they can go buy the things they didn't get as a kid. Oh, I wanted Chrono Trigger when I was a kid. I never got it. So they go and they buy it when they have the money. So that's what happens. Now we're in that wave of where the GameCube generation and the PlayStation generation are now, and N64, they're now in that range where they are making substantial income and can afford them. That's going to eventually level off when those people don't want to do the thing anymore and they kind of like move on and they get married or get, serious relationships or whatever, and their girlfriend's not about it. That generation moves on and that stuff will go back on the market, etc. And then now the kids that are, going to be 25 or whatever that long for PlayStation 2 and Xbox, original Xbox, hell, I'll even say PlayStation 3, they are going to start getting to that age range where they can afford it because they get jobs that can pay for them. So it all works in waves. That's why the Nintendo, Super Nintendo stuff has gone down, because that generation has now moved on and, bought houses and all that kind of stuff. Their financial priorities change.
Yeah, house or Twilight Princess?
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, I was fortunate and I bought a lot of this stuff when I saw the GameCube thing coming. So I was like, they're going to eventually get to the game. So I started buying GameCube stuff up and I saved it for trade fodder and I got rid of it all. Because there's only so much I want.
It was literally like 10 years ago where I could go into like a swap shop, and if I wanted like a bunch, like get like a bunch of GameCube games that are like secondhand. Yeah, something like the disc would be like kind of scratched from like people in the, because like they don't check the quality of the disc. They just be like, hey, we just have the game, we're just gonna sell it to you, and it's up to you to figure out if it works or not. It's like, that's not how it should work, but okay. And I would still like come home with like 10 GameCube games, and I would only pay like $30 for all of them.
It was nuts.
Yeah,
I saw
that was
one
a
time,
good freaking time.
One time I was in a good, I don't know what they call, but the thrift store, basically, you know, a thrift store, junk shop or whatever, donation shop. And I went in there and they had a whole, remember back in the day, you would throw away the cases and you would put your games in one of those CD sleeves, like the CD sleeve binder.
I remember those.
This girl had a whole binder full of GameCube games. And I went through it, and the whole thing, they wanted like $20 for the whole book.
Oh.
And I was like, I thought, because I was flipping through it, and a lot of it was like, you know, Paw Patrol and like crap like that, you know, Nickelodeon like junkware that you wouldn't really want. So I passed on it. But even that stuff is expensive on GameCube now. But back to the Fire Emblem stuff, the games that are actually people actually want, are the prices are through the roof. So go work on your PlayStation collection, your PlayStation 2 collection, and get that stuff cheap while you can still find it in Goodwills. And another tip, if you find a game and it's expensive, but you don't want it for your collection, you buy it anyway because it's cheap, and then you can trade it for something you do want. I traded some expensive GameCube game called like Billy Hatcher or something like that. I had no idea what it was, but it was expensive because I had never seen it before, and I found out it was expensive. It was a $90 game. I took it and bought it for $3, and I traded it for that Zelda Collector's Edition on GameCube, the 4 games in the 1 disc. I traded it for that guy. So, you know, I got that game for $5 because I traded in something, you know, value for it. It's a game. You got to learn how to play the game, buy the stuff, save it, trade it when it goes up in value, and you get it. Pokemon's hot right now. If you don't care about Pokemon and you're finding it in Goodwills and stuff, buy it because people will pay $200 for it.
Yep.
It's so dumb. But again, to your point, Nintendo, which we're going to talk about Nintendo in a minute here. Nintendo does this. They're stupid about it, where it's like, hey, people are buying Pokemon left and right. Let's reissue all those Pokemon games. Nah, we don't want to do that. But we'll get to that in a minute. Back to the Fire Emblem. So I've never touched a Fire Emblem. Enlighten me on Fire Emblem.
So Fire Emblem, have you ever played XCOM?
A long time ago, and I played it like once or twice.
So basically think XCOM, swords, shields, spears, and anime. And so Fire Emblem Three Houses, which is for the Switch, was an absolutely fantastic game, and probably one of the better ones because the characters were good, the story was good, the music was fantastic, and basically what it is, it's somewhat kind of turn-based, but like what you do is you move one character at a time, one unit at a time, and then you and your phase is to like try and position yourself where you want to make sure that like you can like defeat your enemies, but like you're not going to do it all in one turn.
Is this doing the Final Fantasy Tactics type of deal where like you position? Yes. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so like you go like you fight someone in battle, and like depending on their speed, they can attack once or twice. There's even some weapons that allow you to attack 4 times before your turn's over. You get a bit of XP even after if you do any damage to them. But then after you've moved all your units, then it's the enemy's turn, and you have to make sure that you strategize where like you're not leaving all your healers or your squishy units open for to be killed, because the thing is though, you can actually play on modes where you can permanently lose your characters.
Ooh, like a game of chess.
So in the new one, they actually have a mode where that doesn't happen, but you lose them for the entire map, like the rest of the map. There's no revive in the game. But if you're playing the games that I'm playing, which is Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, if you lose that character, they're done, finished. And the only time it doesn't happen is if they kill your main character or one of the main characters, and then you just have to do the whole map all over again from the start, because that's a game over. So,
interesting.
And it's kind of like rock paper scissors, because you have different magic elements that are good against certain things, like lightning is good against flying units, and then you have basically what's called like the weapons triangle, where sword is effective against axe, axe is effective against spear, and spear is effective against sword. So like that actually determines like how much damage you do, your chance to hit, and sometimes even your chance to do a critical hit, which is like 3 times the amount of damage. And then and then you have to like know over the game, you get to recruit more and more characters. And in the newer one, which I really like, is in 3 houses, you're allowed to so say you get a guy and he starts off as like a bow user. If you're like, you know what, screw all that, I want to make you a freaking tank that uses like a giant axe, go for it. He might not be the best at it, but the thing is, every time you level up, the stats you gain is kind of random. I mean, you stand a better chance of getting more like tanky stuff like defense and HP if you're going like a certain class realm. But it allows you to like kind of like mold your characters to whatever the hell you want.
Do all the games play like this? Like is this the Fire Emblem like style of gameplay? Like, is this what they do? Or is this
sort of?
Okay.
So like in the last one, like the game that I'm playing, you get this guy. He's a bow user, but the thing is though, he's always going to be a bow user, and he's not going to be able to use anything else except for like maybe a crossbow for the rest of the game. But like the more you level them up, then you actually get to upgrade their class, and then they get more abilities and skills. Like for example, like if you fully upgrade a class unit, then they start doing things where like instead of like a critical hit, it's like a special skill where they can disable your defense, or they can prevent the other unit from attacking if they attack first, or if an enemy's trying to get them, then they'll do the first attack as opposed to the enemy. So it gets really advanced, and it's a lot of fun figuring it out. But like it's great. It's like I have such a great time playing Fire Emblem games. And
are you doing this? Are you doing this on stream, or is this like in your leisure time?
No, just on my own time.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's important to have games that you like play for yourself and just yourself. Yeah.
It's not exactly the kind of game you want to be streaming on Twitch. Like I did stream it once, but mostly because it's like, hey, I'm gonna play on the hardest difficulty. Let's see what happens. And I was like, well, the wind, there was a gentle breeze, and it killed my entire party.
God damn. Is it boring to watch? That's the other thing too. Like when I learned over time when I was doing the whole streaming thing, is there's just some games that are just boring to watch.
No, it's not that. It's just like I had people watching. It's just it's very hard to commentate.
Yeah.
What you're going to do, because like, you're so always thinking. Because like a lot of times you have to think like 1 or 2 turns ahead for certain things. Because like in the game that I'm doing, like the game is actually pretty difficult in comparison to other Fire Emblem games. So in order for me to beat this one map, I had to like I ended up restarting the map like a total of 5 times, and I had to like use different units to try and get some kind of different advantage. So I mean, it's for me, it's a lot of fun, but as a viewer, probably like unless they're like fully invested and they're a Fire Emblem fan, then they're gonna love it. They're probably going to love it too, especially if you play on like one of the harder difficulties. But for the most part, it's something that's probably best to be experienced on your own.
Yeah, I've thought about doing the Radiant Dawn one, or whichever one, Path of Radiance, whichever the GameCube one is, because that seems to be the most coveted one. And I'll figure out a way to do it, you know.
Yeah, start with the GameCube one, and then if you like it, then do the sequel, because the sequel is interesting because like it has like a lot of the characters from
they're on Game Boy and stuff too, right? Like, isn't there a Game Boy Advance?
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
Game Boy Advance, just about every single platform. There's a lot out there, and that's why like it's like, all right, Smash Brothers, where half the roster is Fire Emblem.
That was getting on my damn nerves. Like, I'm all excited to see a new character and, you know, what's it called in Smash Brothers, and it's like, I have no idea who this person is. It's like, oh, it's the 50th. Smash Brothers was turning literally into the Funko Pop of like fighting games, because it would be like the same thing, the same franchise, like 100 different ones, and I'm like, this has got to stop.
Yeah, like And I agree with what Lady Shadow Ninja put in chat, where like I love Fire Emblem, but like, do we really need 15 Fire Emblem characters? Like, chill, man, chill.
We could have had some Double Dragon. We could have had some, like some legit stuff. But no, they just kept throwing Fire Emblem.
Battletoads.
Yeah, Battletoads would have been legit. What the hell? But that's good. That's good. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try. It's on my list of things to do. And like when I've been working on this whole good people like content stuff, like what do I want to do with it? It's like, oh, there's tons of stuff I can do now because people will go find it and then they'll be like, oh, cool. I don't feel like I'm at this beck and call for like whatever's popular right now. Like I need to be playing this because I don't feel like that pressure anymore. I always stuck by the whole like play what you like type of thing, but like, there is a level of like, very few people are looking to watch footage from a 30-year-old game, that kind of thing. Sora, see, someone in the chat mentioned the Sora thing. They finally put Sora in Smash Brothers because that's what people wanted. They didn't want another. That they were doing it for Xenoblade too. There was like a billion Xenoblade characters in Smash Brothers.
But that's not Geno from Super Mario RPG, and that's not Chrono from Chrono Trigger.
That would be the best one. Chrono would be awesome. I'd be all over it.
Oh, I would kill for like, because like, how we have like Live Alive?
Yeah.
And it's just basically just like giving like the whole, what is it? Like HD, but pixel 2D, kind of like makeover. I want one for like Chrono Trigger, but at the same time, I would just love like a full 3D experience. And I know we mentioned that like briefly on the last podcast, but I'm gonna campaign for this.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I think that's the one they've been holding off forever, and it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. Have you seen this thing? Have you seen this yet?
Yes, I have. I've seen a couple of people playing it.
You're not playing though?
Well, I don't. As far as like on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as a kid, I had the pajamas, and I was obsessed with them for about 1 year, and then all of a sudden, Lego took over.
Okay. So for those that do not know me on a personal level, and you only know me from these shows and stuff like that, there are two things in life that shape my upbringing as a child. One is Ghostbusters, which is my favorite movie of all time. And then two is Ninja Turtles, which was my favorite cartoon of all time when I was a kid growing up. So Ninja Turtles speaks to my heartstrings. I literally have like a shelf over here. You might be able to see it in that frame of Ghostbuster and Ninja Turtle crap. It's just sitting on that shelf there. So this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. This is an homage to the not just Ninja Turtle games of yesteryear. We're talking the 80s and 90s. This is an homage to beat 'em ups in general. If you don't know what a beat 'em up is, think of your Streets of Rage, your Final Fight, those 90s era arcade games where you would scroll right and then just move around and start punching and beating on things.
Yep.
This game is a love song to everything that came out in that era. So depending on the age range of the people listening to this or watching us in Twitch here, there's the three classic arcade games. You have the original Ninja Turtles arcade. Then there is Turtles in Time, which came out on the arcade, and then it came out on Super Nintendo. And then on top of that, in the arcades, we also had the side-scrolling Simpsons game and the side-scrolling X-Men game. They're all built on the same engine with the exception of the very first Turtles arcade game. So if it was a Konami era arcade game, fighting game, it was all built on the same engine. So let's go on with Shredder's Revenge here. This is an homage to all of that. This game is in the running for one of my favorite games of 2022. It might be one of the best games of 2022. And that's me taking the Ninja Turtles out of it. This game, the soundtrack, number one, the soundtrack. There's a track by two members of the Wu-Tang Clan on there. The intro song, the classic 80s Ninja Turtles intro song, is sung by Mike Patton from Faith No More, a popular band in the 90s.
I love that. I love Faith No More.
Yes, this is just on top of that. So the game's not flawless, but if you are a fan of Turtles in Time and ever touched Turtles in Time, you're going to love this game. It's got, I don't even know how to describe it. So this was not a cash grab. Most people thought it was a crash grab when they kind of, oh, great, another Ninja Turtle. Because Ninja Turtles has a bad track record of games. Since Turtles in Time, it's had a bad track record. This game was very well thought out. It's by .emu. I forget what other game they work on. And then there's another company that either published or developed it. But it harkens to 16-bit retro era. So everything the sprites are very bright. They're very colorful. Killer soundtrack. Difficulty level spikes slowly as you progress through the levels because you have the ability to upgrade your turtles as you play through the story mode. You can increase their health. They get special moves. They increase their special move ability, the number of times you can do the special moves, etc. So when you start off in the first level, you're kind of fighting basic level Foot Clan, pow, pow, boom. And it's like you're cruising, right? And then as you progress through the game gets gradually difficult and the Foot Clan get harder. They have swords. They have spears. They have, little like fighting helicopter jets that fire down at you. So you have to use the jump attack to take them out. Like it builds up your turtle and you build up your strategy as you continue to go through the game. You can play through the game. There is an achievement where if you play the game and you beat the game story mode with all 6 different characters, you get an achievement for it. Each turtle has a different ending. And then if you beat it once through story mode, you get to unlock Casey Jones, and you get to play as Casey Jones, and you have the hockey stick, and you're smacking turtles with the hockey stick. April smacks Foot Clan members with the microphone. So she's like the Channel 8 newswoman in her yellow jumper from the 90s, smacking Foot Clan with the microphone.
Splinter, yeah, that's me. Every stream, I'm always smacking my mic.
Yeah, Splinter, you're attacking him with the little wood stick. Donatello's got a staff, and turtles have their classic weapons. Me and the girlfriend bought it together. I bought my girlfriend a copy. I bought myself a copy. We've been playing it on Steam. If anyone wants to join us on Steam, feel free. And you can also do co-op. You can do online co-op, and you get achievements for doing the story online. And there's achievements for doing team-based activity, like teamwork, or like team special moves and all that kind of stuff. And you get all these achievements for that. The only thing I will say is you can actually do up to 6-player co-op in this. And go through each. Yeah, you could do 6-player co-op online. It does get a little hectic. I think at about 4 to 5 players, you're in that comfort zone. 4 is definitely a comfort zone. Where, but 6, it's like Smash Brothers. You like fill up the Smash Brothers and you can't figure out where your character's at on the screen. And then you're kind of like, oh God, I'm getting overwhelmed. Well, they help you out with that. You hit R1 or something like that, and it'll point to you on your screen where your turtle's at or your character.
Okay.
If you get lost in the chaos.
Yeah, because that is one thing where have you ever played Smash Brothers with like 8 people?
Yeah, it's rough.
So many times where it is like, all right, I think I'm doing good. You just see me just like jumping off all on my own, far away from everybody else. Is like, oh, I'm fucking dead.
Is there friendly fire? I don't believe there's friendly fire. I will double check it. There might be on a different difficulty level. I will double check that, but I don't believe in my playthroughs. I haven't run through friendly fire. Each run of the story mode is about 2.5 hours, so it's not a complete, full-on investment of your time. And it's just great. I haven't had so much fun playing a video game in so long. Mm-hmm. And Empow is playing it. Empow had no idea about beat 'em ups or anything like that. She knew about Turtles in Time because we would go to the arcade and play it. There's a retro arcade in a city over from us, and that's one of our dates where we go and you plunk down $15 for an hour or whatever, and we play. So we would play Turtles in Time and stuff. So she's familiar with Turtles in Time, but she's playing this with me online. We're playing on Steam, we're on Discord, and she's like, this is really, really, really cool. And then you're getting into the game when you start talking to yourself and you're like, pat, 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 boom, bitch, pat, 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 and you're knocking stuff out left and right.
Oh, that was how I was back in the 90s.
Yeah, that's how you're getting into a game.
Yep.
This is the most fun I've had with a game in a long, long time. It is very, very cheap it's, I think top price right now is $30, but if you have Steam, it's on the Steam sale right now and it's $22.
Oh.
So, I recommend it. If you want to play, jump on Zenith, let me know, and we can do some of the team-based stuff. We'll get Pow in on it. We can do all some of the team-based stuff together.
I'll have to consider it once I get some money.
Yeah, and then if you don't want to do story mode, they have what's called the arcade mode, which does just like the arcade does, even the difficulty, where you play through it arcade style, because now that you're older and you realize when you play arcades, you realize, oh, these things were designed to take my money, so they're hard. Arcades were difficult because they were designed to just eat your quarters.
Yep, the good old days.
The good old days. So
yeah, have you ever been to do you have any like barcades where you're at?
We do have one. There is one in LA. It's called 82. It's very awesome.
Yeah, we actually have 2 barcades up here. Like we have like a place for board games where you can it's a place called Snakes and Lattes, and instead of
what a great name.
So like so that place though, it's a lot more like chill, where like it's not a bar at all. Like I think you could order an adult beverage, but like you would get these like really fancy like lattes, like these big mugs, and like a really nice like pastry, and then you just play. You pay like a $5 fee to play whatever. They have this giant wall of board games, and you just play while drinking good coffee with friends, and it's such a good time. And then in the barcades, like we have one place, and it's mostly just like retro gaming stuff, everything from like NES to like the N64. Like I remember going to one of the back rooms and just playing like Mario Kart for Mario Kart 64, and just absolutely just destroying my friends. And then I'd leave after that, play some skeet ball. And then the other one, like they had some retro games, but like they mostly had like pinballs. They lined the walls with all these pinball machines of different various types. And they did have because they're still talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like we had one of those TMNT pinball machines, which that was one of the ones that I would do. So I would have like a lot of fun.
Do they have the Mario Kart where you sit in it, like the actual sit down Mario Kart, like you sit in the old racing?
One of them, yes. Yeah, that one's a bit weird. Every time like it tries to get you to take a picture, like I just like turn around and it just photoshops Mario's nose on like the back of my head.
You should like moon it, like so it puts a nose right on your ass.
I would get kicked out of the place, Eric. I'm not exposing my bare ass onto the steering wheel.
It has the little like cap on the top of your ass cheeks, and the nose is like right in the ass or whatever, or the mustache. The mustache is right on the ass.
Yeah, just a mustache on my ass.
On the ass. But
yeah, Mario's nose just covering my ball sack.
Yeah. Instead of Mario's chin, Mario has that chin, that round chin. Yeah. He's just got your ball sack.
There we go.
But over here at the 82, they actually have, how like you go to sports bars or whatever, and they get the sports games above on the TVs. Well, at the 82, you can actually watch the Street Fighter cabinets. You can watch the Street Fighter cabinets while you're having beers. It's actually a really, really cool atmosphere. I like 82 a lot. So it's like, I can't work. Yeah, Brown knows the arcade machine at Mario Kart. We'll get kicked out. A bunch of little kids are like, what's he doing?
No, that's a barcade, meaning kids aren't allowed.
Yeah.
Like, so like you can get alcohol there. There's like.
Yeah, this retro arcade, we go to a retro arcade, Pal and I, and they allow kids in there because there's no alcohol there. You just pay like an hourly fee or whatever and you play. But yeah, we played a lot of Turtles in Time. We play a lot of X. I think they have the Simpsons one now. The Simpson one is a lot of fun. I remember that game a lot.
Oh, I do. All I remember doing is like I was a kid and it was like, I think this is where like my sadistic origins came around, because I would purposely just get like Bart Simpson run over by like a bunch of cars.
If I had the space and I had the money, space is the bigger issue. I would get those arcade one-up cabinets, and I would get the Holy Trinity, the Turtles in Time, the Simpsons, and the X-Men one, like just lined up on a wall in my house.
Man, I would love like a house that like would be able to like have all of that. I would get skeet ball, get like one of those like table hockey things, and then maybe a foosball table. I want it all.
I would love it. I would do it if I could, if I had the space, if I had a home. If I had a home. You know,
what's a home?
Yeah, what's a home? You know, what's owning a house these days? You know, but you know, someday I would do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Turtles and that's Shredder's Revenge, and you get all the retro kickbacks of that era. You get they even tapped into the movies. So like you fight Toka and Razor, you fight Bebop and Rocksteady, you fight Super Shredder. You know, Kevin Nash. If those of you that didn't know, the wrestler Kevin Nash played Super Shredder in the movie back in the 90s.
It's
Random
been
facts.
so long ago that I forgot.
Yeah, random facts. Get back on that Ninja Turtle train. People are looking at me like this grown ass 40-year-old man and his love for Ninja Turtles, and I'm like, that's what keeps you young. You look at this, oh, I remember this. This is awesome. I'm also a big fan of Batman, so I do the Batman thing. So, but yeah, I'll probably shoot a TikTok of it or something pretty soon. I'm really, really into the game. I'm loving it.
I'll have to see it.
Yeah. If you can get it, jump in. And then continuing on this retro game, I don't know if you've heard of this or seen this yet, but let's talk about Agent 64 Spies Never Die.
That's the game that's based off of GoldenEye, or is it actually GoldenEye?
It harkens off of GoldenEye. It is not GoldenEye because that would be a whole mess of legal issues. But
yeah,
this, I don't know how I came across this, but I downloaded the demo. You can get the demo on Speed. Speed. I'm sure you could get it on Speed, but you could get the demo.
Get a lot of things on Speed.
You could get the demo on Steam. Agent 64. Even the title is ridiculous sounding. Agent 64 Spies Never Die. So the demo is a tower level. You are dropped into like it even does that panoramic like 3D shot around you when you start the level, and you got the gun, like the pixelated like square gun in your hand, and your head looks like it was smushed by a waffle iron.
It's like they ripped your face off and they just like place it on a Lego.
Glued it back on, yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, Agent 64. So, if you played GoldenEye back in the day, which I'm sure most of us have at some point, it's very different control-wise. Like, you don't realize how bad the N64 3D era kind of was when you're trying to do these games with one little stick. And then, like, your turning is done with the C buttons. Oof. I have not tried this game on controller yet. But I did do mouse and keyboard. And mouse and keyboard is really, really nice. You can turn, you can't do a real look up and down like modern shooters with the mouse. But because it's also in that, remember GoldenEye had that weird, like it's first person, but it's not eyes down sight first person. It's like the gun's like right in front of you and you're going like.
And then there's that one asshole friend that plays Oddjob in multiplayer. It's like, I can't fucking shoot you.
Yeah, I can't shoot you. Doom, you can only go left and right. Yeah, it's very much like that too. It's basically the layout and the control scheme of GoldenEye. Like the way you turn and you move left and right, and then to like aim, you have to like right click the mouse, and then you get the cursor, and then you can aim, and then you can fire. But this is actually go.
Did you ever try GoldenEye for the Wii?
I did not, and
I don't know. Like, maybe I'm just a bit odd here, but like I enjoy that. I played the campaign. The campaign was alright, but like I played a lot of the multiplayer, and I gotta say, I had such a fun time with that. Like how I played. So like you have the Wii remote and you have the nunchuck, and what I did, you guys can't see it, but like I have like my knees up here, and I would just play like this, and I would use my knee to like move the Wii remote around just so I can be super accurate when I'm like sniping people off the map.
That's actually a very clever way to do it.
I got so good at it.
There's supposedly rumor of a GoldenEye remake that was supposed to hit like Xbox or something. I don't know what happened with it, but
yeah, I think it'd be like the one for the Wii that would just like be ported to Xbox, because like they did remake GoldenEye.
Can you do that thing with remember the Wii, like the crossbow training attachment thing? And then you put the Wiimote in it. Can you use that thing?
I mean, you could, yes, but like that's basically just like the nunchuck right in like the crossbow thing. But yeah, it was a remake. It was it just replaced what is it? what's his name that was playing James Bond, but like they just replaced his model with Daniel Craig, which is, you know, I get it, but like you didn't have to do that. And then afterwards they it was basically like your more like modern FPS. It takes GoldenEye, but like modernizes it where like you heal after certain. I mean, you could actually also play on like the classic mode too, where you try and like get body armor and health, and then just go from there.
Yeah. So it's speed run. You can speed run this thing. It times you on how long it takes you to pass the level and all this stuff. And then depending on the difficulty of agent you pick, it ups the difficulty, and it actually changes the objectives to pass the level. So like on the easiest agent level, you have to get a key card to open the door to leave, right? Okay. Whereas you up at a level, now you have to save the guy that has the key card because he's being held hostage, and you have to find him in the room, take out the guy holding him hostage, and then the guy will lead you to the exit and swipe his key card. So like it changes the objectives from what I can tell the more you up the level. So I'm like, this is actually really, really cool. I played it a couple times trying to beat my time, and it's a lot of fun. I think about games like this a lot because GoldenEye is such an important game in terms of like multiplayer shooting and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like it's so outdated. Realistically, GoldenEye's outdated.
Yeah, like it did not age very well.
Yeah, so like I feel like you get this age of like Call of Duty players and Battlefields and Fortnites and all that kind of stuff, and you know, would they even like respond to it or even find it enjoyable? Because there's a generation of kids now that have never even known what GoldenEye is. They're past N64 age, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's like, would they even you and me get all excited about it? We're like, yeah, this is awesome. But like, would a modern generation even, so I was almost wondering like if a GoldenEye remake would even work. You couldn't do it the way it was.
Yeah.
You'd have to modernize the whole thing.
Well, basically what Klaus had mentioned in chat is like it was good for what it was. Like you have like the aiming of the Wiimote, so like that was like a big, like it actually worked very well for the game. But like if it was just the game itself without like the Wii remote gimmick, like people would be excited for it, but then it'd be like, this still controls like shit.
Yeah, and then the other thing is that
at the end of the day, maybe it's a good thing that they
something like GoldenEye or anything James Bond related is now stuck in like copyright hell because MGM owns James Bond now and Amazon owns MGM, so like Bezos has to like sign off on it. Yeah, you go ahead and use so and so, and then you have the Pierce Brosnan thing where it's like Pierce Brosnan has to sign off on likeness rights to use him in the game and all kinds of I don't know. I feel like it's never going to happen. But if you want your fix of GoldenEye era-esque gameplay, definitely check out Agent 64, Spies Never Die. There's a free demo on Steam right now. You can grab it. It's a 1-level demo. You can check that out. Someone in the chat said they've never played GoldenEye or heard of GoldenEye. There you go. It's probably a realistic thing. If you didn't own a Nintendo 64 and you were a PlayStation kid, then yeah, you would have had no idea what GoldenEye was.
Well, to be fair, the person in question lives under a rock. She doesn't know what a bagel is.
Did her landlord raise the rent on her rock? Your rock?
It's a very big rock.
Yeah. Your rock is in prime location.
She's told me that she's never had toast before, yet owns a toaster. So it's...
Do they use it for Pop-Tarts?
For another day.
Do they use it for Pop-Tarts? See where I'm
in trouble.
Oh, man. Well, you've opened your mouth. Now it's going. So I was working on. I've put Forbidden West down. I'm like over it now for right now. It's not done. It's not finished. But I'm just tired of achievement hunting in this thing. So I put it aside. And I don't know. You ever just look at your shelf and you're like, I'm going to put that game in, right? I slapped in a link. I slapped a Link Between Worlds into my 3D or my 2DS, whichever one I have, right? And I'm in love all over again. If you don't know, A Link Between Worlds is the Zelda where you have the painting mechanism where it like turns you into painting and you can crawl along the walls and through cracks and all this kind of stuff. Basically it's a spiritual successor to A Link to the Past, which is my favorite Zelda. And I popped this game in and I was on that thing for a couple hours. Just the challenge level of it too got me because like you get to the Eastern Temple or whatever, and you need the gloves, but you can't get the gloves. You don't know where the gloves are. And then you go and then you find this little area and it tells you, oh, you need a bow and arrow. But then I have to remember, like, and then there's a little sign that says, hey, go see this guy because he's got a shop by the castle. You go by the castle, there's no shop. And then you're like, oh, okay. And then I just, by happenstance, found out, I remembered there's a guy staying in my little Link's apartment. He needed a night to crash. So I'm like, I went back to him. And this is the guy that was going to start the shop. And then he's like, oh, here's the bow and arrow you need. And then now I have the bow and arrow. I can go back and do what I got to do. And I was like, okay, this is the Zelda I love. Where you're just wandering, trying to figure out what the heck you're doing. And then you kind of get to the point. And then once you get through that first hurdle, figure out what you need to do, then you just get that motivation to just keep going and start knocking out temples left and right. Fantastic game. This is like easily one of the better Zeldas too. The painting mechanic is phenomenal.
Yeah, now, what I love so much is that, like, if you have multiple playthroughs, you can even change which dungeon you do first.
Yeah.
So you can kind of like decide like what your adventure is going to be like once you get like reach like a certain point of the game, which is absolutely incredible. And I kind of wish like it's not quite like a randomizer per se. Speaking of which, I have played the randomizer for Link Between Worlds, and it's fantastic.
Oh my god, there's a randomizer for everything.
Yeah, there's a randomizer for every single Zelda game, including Breath of the Wild. So what they like, so it just like it allows you to like change up your experience, and I kind of like wish like Nintendo would give us like more choice in like how to determine our like our Zelda experiences.
Yeah. Now you were talking about this as the last. You were talking about this in the last episode, where it's kind of like I wish they would kind of do this thing, but then again, like Breath of the Wild does that.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you that more open, feel of like, hey, you can go straight to Ganon if you want. You're not going to get very far.
Yeah, that's personal choice, but more or less about like what the game provides for you. Like I wouldn't mind if the game provides you a different challenge every single time you play it.
Yeah.
So
that's what I think. That's what they did. Remember, they had the was it the Master Quest and all that kind of stuff, where the dungeons were like a different layout or something like that.
Yep.
And
they have that for Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, they did that back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But what a fantastic game. This is like why Zelda is so revered, because it's just they come up with a new mechanic every time, and it really does make the game special.
Yes, absolutely.
They have wool. You turn into the wolf in Twilight Princess. Wind Waker, you have the ship. The ship just makes the traveling, experience amazing. Yep. And then you have
and then the Oracle. Don't forget the Oracle games.
The oracles, and then Minish Cap, you shrank like a little mini, you went all Ant-Man with it. I'm excited for the oracles and stuff again, because I have one of the analog pockets on order. Have you seen the analog pocket yet?
I believe someone showed it to me.
So there's a company called Analog Incorporated. They take what's called an FPGA board, and it's a hardware recreation that can be manipulated, etc., to function like original hardware, but it's hardware based. So they build these high-end Super Nintendos that are like hundreds of dollars, but it's actual physical hardware. There's no emulation involved. And you pop in your cartridge and it boots up like a Super Nintendo would. So what they've done with the Analog Pocket is they've taken an FPGA board and it's basically recreating a Game Boy handheld device. There's like a whole scene right now with Game Boys. Like you can mod your Game Boys. People rip out the old screens. They put IPS, backlit screens similar to your cell phone and stuff like that to improve the gameplay and the battery life of your device. I've seen USB-C mods where they put a battery pack in it, a USB-C port, and you can charge it that way and stuff like that. Game Boys are expensive right now. Yeah. Game Boys are like $60 to $80 depending on the one you buy. Plus you have to buy the mod kit. And if it's a Game Boy Advance you want, God help you, you're paying $90 to $100 almost.
Yeah, and let's not forget adding batteries.
And batteries and stuff like that. So the Analog Pocket now is like, I think I paid $200 or $250 for it, maybe $300. at the most, right? But it's got all of that in there. It's got the IPS screen, etc., etc. Like it's modernized, full on stereo audio, Bluetooth in it, the whole shebang, right?
Yep.
So I have no need to buy a Game Boy to mod or anything like that anymore. I can keep my childhood ones and leave them alone. But the cool thing about the Analog Pocket is there's adapters. So if you want to play Game Gear, Sega Game Gear, you can buy an adapter that goes right into the Analog Pocket spot and then plug in your Game Gear cartridge. So you need one device and then you just need the adapters. It's an awesome, cool piece of technology. Analog Pocket, if you want to look that up. So I've got one of those on order. Mine's due in Q3. So I'm going to start stocking up on Game Boy games that I've wanted to play. My Metroids, my Zeldas, and I'm going to redo them all on an Analog Pocket. Very cool device.
I'll have to check that out.
But, so yeah, Zelda: A Link Between Worlds has been just fantastic. I'll have more opinions on it when I finish it up. And then we kind of doing some more Metroid Dread. This Dark Souls-esque Metroid. This game's hard as hell.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, I'm getting frustrated. But this is that whole thing I was learning where it's like, Elden Ring's teaching me to be patient. You will do it. You just have to keep playing.
It's like one of those games where it's a thing like games like Metroid Dread and Elden Ring does so well is that you're in danger, you're about to get attacked, you have a big attack coming your way, and then you just spam the button because you're trying to be like, no, just roll, we have to panic, we have to get the hell out of here. But if you're patient and if you get the timing right, then you can successfully avoid it, and instead of putting yourself into an even worse spot from like panic rolling or panic dodging, and just do things like calm and collectively, then you can get the jump on people. And that's sometimes like what Elden Ring can teach you, where as opposed to just spamming just like the
guns blazing,
guns blazing a button, and just take your time with it. Because like a lot of bosses, especially I find like later on, like in a game like Elden Ring, is that you need to take your time with them, and you have to kind of like learn their attack patterns first before you go on and attack, so that you don't just go in there and just push buttons.
Before we head to the break here, I was thinking about this a lot too, and I think the reason people get frustrated with games like Elden Ring and stuff like that, and they keep dying, is because I think honestly, with the younger generation, it's been fed into our heads that if we keep dying, we suck. You know, like we're just not good at games. Like, get good, dude. Like,
yeah. Like everyone that says that gatekeeps you from saying, oh, you beat the game because somebody else, like something else helped you. It's a mechanic in the fucking game. Let people enjoy it one way or another. Because like a game that is meant to be challenging, who cares if Chad Buffington beats it on his first try? You just get in there, take your time with it, learn it. Even if you die 50, 100 times, all what matters at the end of the day is that you rose over the occasion. And like with Metroid Dread, because it is a 2D game, on a 2D plane, it takes patience. It takes having to like observe, die a few times, because every single time you die, you kind of like maybe you learn a little thing, or it's like, oh, okay, so like maybe I should have been here, maybe I should have been using this weapon. So sometimes it takes some experimenting to try and figure out, and that's what these kinds of games do.
Because one of the main concepts of that game is when you enter the rooms with the Emmys, the big gigantic robots, you have to escape the Emmy until you have the charge up to blow the Emmy away. So, but what happens is I started learning the route of the Emmy, and I learned how to escape the Emmy, and I can learn like, okay, I know how to do this, so I need to go through this room, and then you learn the route and you escape them and evade them and all that stuff. But going back to what I was saying about this mental psychology thing that we have, where it's like, I saw a video where someone beat Margit in Elden Ring on like level 13. Automatically, I'm like, God damn, I suck at this game. I'm level 15 and I can't even do this. I don't know how many hours they put into it to beat them at level 13. You know what I mean? And the patience that they spent to do that. You only see the glory. You never see the guts and the stuff that it took to get to that glory.
Yeah.
But it's
there's a person on my stream team who was fighting Margit, and she actually went straight up there at level 7, never played a Souls game, and it took her 40 tries, but she finally beat Margit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's great, but you could have also explored, so you didn't spend like 3 hours just trying to fight the boss.
Right. And but again, it's that whole mentality of like, God damn, this game's hard, but I suck. And then because some, Noob Poner 69 on Twitter says, get good, dude. And it's like, piss off. Like, I'm trying to play and enjoy it. But I think it's a mental thing where it's like these people talk, and you didn't have this pre-internet. Like, you sat there in your room, and if you sucked, you sucked, and then eventually you did it. And also keep in mind too, games were harder back then because they were more expensive.
Yeah, and that's why like those like game guide magazines were like actually like
a thing.
Well covered, because like how many times did how many times I would not have been able to 100% Majora's Mask if it wasn't for
a game guide.
The game guide.
Yeah, like
there's no way.
And those things were written by the people. I don't know if they were written by the people that developed them or whatever, but there's someone working close-handedly with those people, or their whole job was to just play that game for 8 hours a day until they did it.
Yeah, literally.
But it's like one of those things. Was like, yeah, games were harder back then because they were expensive. $80. Final Fantasy 3 was $80 back then. That is, $160 some odd in today's money, give or take. Probably more now because of the inflation the way it is. But like you when I was a kid, I only got games on birthday and Christmas. And like you kind of made a list, and even then you had to pick and choose. Like, hey, mom and dad only have so much money, and I got a little brother, he wants gifts too. So like, what games do I want? It's not like now where it's like, oh, the Steam sale, get this game for $9, and then you have a stockpile of crap. It's games were harder back then. There were more money involved in them. Parents were paying for them.
Yeah. Like I was very lucky in the sense of where like for like birthdays and Christmas I would get like a first party game. Like I remember getting Yoshi's Island. I begged for it.
So good.
And I opened up all my presents. It was not there. My last present was like this little capsule thing, and my game was right in there.
Oh,
I would never have guessed it.
That's so sweet.
That was an amazing Christmas. But then, like, when it's not Christmas or my birthday, we would go up to this place. Like, we would go, like, an hour away. Like, we would travel for, like, an hour just to get to, like a video game store, and we would just rent out a bunch of games. And if they were really good... Yeah, if they were really good, we had no problem taking it back, like, a week or two late.
Yeah, that was because it was still cheaper than owning the damn game.
Yeah, I kept Ocarina of Time for like a month and a half over its return date.
Damn, they send the collection agency after you.
Yeah.
That's so nuts. But no, it was a good time. You ever think now when you become a parent, you're gonna you think about all the stuff your parents did for you, like with games, you're gonna get creative with it, like with gifts.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make them I'm gonna make like a retro kind of like environment around them where they leave their room and then they just see like a cardboard cutout, a Radio Shack and shit like that. It's like,
that's
awesome. To rent the games.
I want to do the
play money to rent it.
I want to do the Red Ryder BB gun thing and just like hide it in the corner of a house somewhere.
Yeah, I would definitely do stuff like that.
But you gotta wait till your kid's full on depressed that day when he didn't get what he wanted. Like you have to get the kid at the lowest of the low, and then when you reach that level, hey, there's something behind the tree.
Yeah, it's basically like before I reward you, I must fucking crush you. I'm going to ruin your fucking day.
Yeah,
and then you get rewarded.
Just so
you can appreciate it.
You can appreciate it. Good stuff. All right, we're going to go ahead and go to break, and then we're going to go ahead and we are going to tap into the Nintendo Direct. So, you've been listening to Good Friends, Good Games. We'll be back shortly. Feel free to hang out in the chat among us here while we take a break, and we will be back. Welcome back to Good Friends, Good Games. We have talked about what we've been playing. It's Erik, Anthony, and Zenith here holding down the fort while the other two ladies are out. So, Nintendo Direct. Were you disappointed or were you satisfied? Oh, that noise.
So, this is a bit to unpack because did they announce, because like remember, so like last podcast, did we mention anything about any upcoming directs?
We did not mention anything about directs. Now, keep in mind, we're
Okay,
also bi-weekly here, so it may have happened like in a time frame where we just missed it, but I do not recall any announcements of. There was the rumor mill floating.
Yeah, right. The rumor mill was floating about there being a direct, and we weren't quite sure what kind of announcement. Like, I think at the time we were talking about it being late because there is no E3 this year. We had Summer Games Fest. That was great. But
was it really though?
And I let's be honest, it was all right.
It was okay.
But
it was something. You tried.
So June is roughly about the time where like games they make their announcements. They pave the pavement for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm. And the reason they do this, we should mention, the reason they do this is because you get people hyped up in June and July. So it starts prepping people that will buy the games, parents, et cetera, et cetera. It starts prepping them for the holidays. Because the idea is you announce this stuff now, you get it about 6 months out for the holiday stuff. That way kids get excited. They know what to ask for Christmas, you know, and then the stuff that people are going to spend their Christmas money, Christmas bonuses and all that kind of stuff on. Black Fridays and all that kind of stuff, shopping days, that gets them lined up to prepare for the end of the year, because the end of the year is really the biggest part of the year for sales. That's when consoles sell, that's when games sell, all that whole shebang. So it's important to get this stuff out in June and July to get people ready.
Mm-hmm. So like Sony, Microsoft, various game studios like Ubisoft, Blizzard even had a thing. Every other like big competitor has made their move, in lieu of like there not being any E3 this year.
Right.
And Nintendo, you know, for most of June it was silence, and then finally they announced a direct. It was Xenoblade Chronicles 3 direct, and I was like,
why?
Great. Good for the fans.
This is one of those, like, Xenoblade's one of those most beloved games in the Nintendo library. I can't get into it. I don't know if it's...
Yeah, it's great for the fans. Like, talking to the people that have played it, like, they're excited. They have every reason to be excited. And you know what? I'm kind of glad that they had their own direct, because it was what, like 15, 20, 25 minutes where they just talked about the game.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they added that to an actual Nintendo Direct? How pissed off I'd been? Because, like, do you remember those Nintendo Directs, like, when they were still, like, not like, showing off, like, Smash Brothers, like, they have, like, new characters?
Right.
And they would spend, like, 5-10 minutes, like, discussing, like, all the characters' moves. It's like, you know, I don't give a fuck. I'm not going, like, why, like, you're taking up so much of the time, because it looks like you have hardly any information to wow us with when you're just spending all this time. So maybe it's a good thing they did that for Xenoblade, to, like, give the fans, like, the nitty-gritty information. It's just because, like, how long we had to wait for any kind of information whatsoever, I was disappointed. And then after that, they did shortly after that, it's like, oh, hey, there's a new direct coming around. And once again, getting the hype trains going. We're going, let's go. And then find out that it's a mini partner direct where it shows off the third-party titles. Now, that was better, because they announced, what was it? Persona 5 Royal on Switch. And not just Persona 5. Like, they have Persona 4 Golden and Persona 3 Portable, along with Mega Man Battle Network Collection, Harvestella. They did the Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Let's go through the list here. So we covered the Xenoblade thing. So Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I'm not a Xenoblade expert by any means. I've got about 10 to 15, 30 minutes into the first game, and I was just like, okay, I'm bored. You know, well, I take that back. Probably about an hour and a half into the first game. You actually start the gameplay. Like, I was already bored. Like, it's too long. There's too much stuff that makes it's too much RPG for me. Like, this, do this to make this strategic move happen. Do this to do this in the battle segment of the game, and then you're kind of like, okay, this is too much. I just want to play.
Yeah, for me it was like what we mentioned, too JRPG or like a style of JRPG that just does not resonate with me.
Yeah, it's just too much stuff I have to learn to play. That's if you'll find out as you get to know me more and more through these discussions and the games I like and the games I play. The more stuff you have to throw at me to accomplish what I want to do or what I need to do, I lose interest. I don't like this idea of I need to set up this to set up this to set up this and fill this power bar, and then you beat these people up to fill this power bar, and then boom, you can finally do this. Like, that's too much for me. I feel the same way about over item collection. Like, you have too many items to do or too many things. You collect all these items and you can cook this, and then you can cook that with this to make this. Like, it's too much stuff. You know, I like a list. Okay, I can collect these items to cook things that do this. Boom, that's one thing off my checklist. You can get these weapons and upgrade these weapons using this. Okay, cool. That's on my checklist. Give me 3 to 4 components that work and help me build the foundation of my character, which builds my gameplay. That's good. That's what I like. But when you do all this complexy side mission type of stuff, and then you have all these kind of different battle attacks and different modes you can do in battles, it's too much.
Another thing about that like, and this is actually kind of why I didn't get Monster Hunter Rise. And it's something that like a lot of JRPGs do. It's where you're trying to fight and your characters like I get it. Like in Japan, if you're mid battle, you're literally talking throughout the whole thing. You're either smack talking it, you're saying all this cool Japanese stuff. Like that's great. But translated to English, it is cringing. It feels unnatural. Like if I'm beating the crap out of Eric, I don't need to be like say, and this is for my mother every 5 seconds.
The one that gets me is the stupid pop-up things when you're like in a battle or something. Like, you know, it's like you're fighting in a battle or whatever, and then the battle stops to do a pop-up thing, and it's like, click here to activate this and take them down with this, and then you're like, oh, okay, and then you click it and it does it. I'm like, stop.
And then like a 5-second animation where you basically just become like a Super Saiyan.
Right. Now, the Final Fantasy ones are cool, like when you summon Infrit and all that stuff, and it does the whole...
Yes!
Yeah, that like shit's badass.
FF8 and like 10? Like, oh, that was so
well,
good.
The remake, the Final Fantasy remake, like when you summon Infrit and all that stuff, it's like literally hell rains down. Like on these...
so good.
Yeah, like I love that stuff. Okay, that's cool cinematic shit.
Yeah,
right?
That I like... But when they overtalk for everything, it's like you're kind of spoiling it. Do I need to talk about, I'm doing this for my friends? It's like, we kind of figure that out like within like the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and it's just like when your tutorials, 5 hours of gameplay, I'm like, this is too much. That's too much. 5 hours is an exaggeration, but most of them, like some of these are like an hour of just tutorial. And I'm like, oh, God, that's just the one segment of the game. Then let's say, for example, something like Starfield. You're going to get in a ship, and then you get through this big old long tutorial about your ship. Customize your ship to do this. Paint the ship, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, let me play. I'm an old school type of gamer, guys. Like, I like to just play the game. Let me get playing. I don't like, okay, I'll customize my ship later. I'll get the paint scheme that I want, and I'll do all that later. I'll build my colony later. Right now, I've paid $70 to $70 now. Right now, I've paid $70. I want to play the game. I want to get through this story, and I want to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's like that one game where you're going on an epic adventure quest, and then all of a sudden you're forced into like a 15-20 minute like side venture where you're learning about how to decorate your house. And like if that stuff is optional, fine, but don't force me to do this. And why do we need to learn farming? No. Just get me to the action, and then if I want to do that,
right, then
sure, give me a tutorial. But like, don't force me into it. And that's what some of those games end up doing. And I'm just like, bro, I think I just want to just go touch grass.
Yeah, I just go eat grass and watch paint dry. Like, but like. Or you drop the controller on the table. I guess I'll go into the real world now.
Yep.
But like, yeah, it's too much. And Xenoblade Chronicles does this. It's too much thing. And then like all this exploration in the town and all this stuff. And I like I said, this is just me. You may actually love this stuff and you may enjoy it. And like, you know, oh, the more stuff I can do, the better, you know? Yeah. That's all you, fam. Like, I'm glad you enjoy it. This went out of left field and I didn't even see this one. This Disney Dreamlight Valley. Someone was hella excited about it. Lesh is excited about it, and I think Hannah's got to be excited about this.
That's great. So
this basically looks like The Sims meets Mickey Mouse.
That is very cool, and Lesh is gonna hate me in a second. I believe throughout the entire presentation, this was the one and only game that I fast forwarded through so I could see what's next. Sorry, Lesh.
She's like, what?
So I know nothing about this game. Anything else about the Direct you can ask me.
What I can gather from this, it's like Lesh is hanging out in the chat with us right now. It's basically it's Animal Crossing meets Disney. Okay. Mm-hmm. Again, this is one of those concepts that sounds amazing on paper. You know, I'm not judging this game yet. Like, I'm not judging it yet, but I'm just saying this sounds like an amazing amazing. She's in the document right now, guys. I think Lesh is gonna like just set us up for sabotage here. She's in the document.
Oh yeah, she's probably gonna leave like a scathing review on the document itself.
It's all at the very bottom. Announce Lesh's like
I'm already
departure. Announce Lesh's departure. But no. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, it looks and sounds good on paper. I'm honestly intrigued a little bit. Am I going to go?
Honestly, now that you mentioned it like this, I do want to check it out, though.
Okay, so this is a very similar situation. You know which one actually has me excited? And, Huh?
Okay.
Oh, the one that actually has me excited, I'm thinking about is the Hogwarts like legacy thing, that open world Harry Potter looking Hogwarts game. Have you seen this so far?
I haven't exactly looked at it, and I don't know. It's just I don't know, anything Harry Potter related. I haven't really touched in like the last couple of years.
But that and it's a similar concept. Like, this thing sounds great on paper, but when we go to play it, is actually okay. So, Animal Crossing meets Disneyland. So, obviously we saw this trailer. You can collect outfits for your little character. You can get the Mickey ears. The Mickey ears, that's the holy grail of Disneyland now, is the Mickey ear collection and the little backpacks. the Loungefly backpacks with all your Disney characters on them. Those are the holy grails of Disney collectibles now. So you get all these different cute little outfits. They got a little Mickey Mouse Club. They've got all this stuff, and I guess you build your own little island with, your own magic castle and your own. I want to know if it's going to be like Roller Coaster Tycoon. If I can have people fly off the Matterhorn, I'm all about it.
Okay.
You want to climb on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride to your death? Okay, this is the game I'm in for. But it doesn't look like that. It looks like a very chill Animal Crossing-esque build your own island and rebuild island type of game. Your own little, sanctuary, Disney-esque corporate sanctuary.
Yep.
I wish I had more to say about it, but like, I just don't know. I'm not saying it's going to be a bad game, but like I'm saying, it's just one of those ideas that just sounds good on paper. And games like this, I feel like games like this, they're only as good as the amount of content they keep putting into it.
Yeah, it sounds like one of those games that would probably benefit from DLC.
It's gonna have a
free DLC.
It's gonna have a DLC.
It's going to be paid DLC. Let's be honest.
Mickey, Mickey ear packs and outfit packs and all this kind of stuff. So let's look at this real quick here. Okay, so Disney's Dreamlight Valley. What is the concept here? I just want to read the concept here real quick.
Yeah, we can discuss it more next time Lesh is on.
Yeah,
I would love to see what she thinks of it.
Okay, here we go. Disney's Dreamlight Valley is a hybrid between a life sim and an adventure game rich with quests, exploration, and engaging activities featuring Disney and Pixar friends, both old and new. So there's quests you do in this game too. I can't determine if this is an MMO, but but like what kind of...
It's like maybe bit of Rune Factory, perhaps?
Maybe. Starting to... Okay, so September 6th, early access. That's a red flag for me, too. Or the early access thing. I'm not the biggest fan of early access stuff because it's almost like I'm paying to be a guinea pig.
Yeah.
But...
Can't afford to have game testers? Why not get the fans to play it?
Frequently asked questions. Okay, let's see here. It's an okay, so this is free to play. Disney's Dreamlight Valley is an upcoming free to play multi-platform life simulation adventure that puts you at the center of a journey to discover. Okay, so this is a free to play concept here. This is going to be... I almost feel like it's going to be... Why did that pop up?
Free to play, right?
Yeah, free to play. So I feel like
that is a red flag itself.
Yeah, but is it though? Like, I mean,
almost everything, especially if you're a big company like Disney, free to play is just like synonymous for like you may be able to play the game, but to actually enjoy half of it, you're gonna want to be doing a lot of things like gambling, gotcha, and other type of stuff that you're going to actually end up paying a lot more than a full retail price for a game just to get your money's worth.
Okay, so here we go. This is what gets me. Okay, you'll need to build relationships with a cast of Disney and Pixar characters to uncover their lost memories and solve the puzzles of the valley, all while making your mark on the land by building your dream village. Okay. I'm starting. I think I'm piecing this together now. So yes, it's Animal Crossing almost like meets an MMO meets Disney, all while being free to play. So they're gonna have these different drops of puzzles. Complete this puzzle to do this, or complete this event to get these items, and that's basically the route I think they're gonna go with this. Let's do these events, meet these characters. So if you want to get Mickey, if you want to meet Minnie Mouse or whatever and do Minnie Mouse's puzzles, there's going to be a limited amount of time to do it. And then you'll get the rewards from that thing once you finish it and then contribute them. This is my guess. And then you contribute them to your island or like build your world with them. So you get the mini bedspread after solving Minnie's puzzles, and then you can have a cute little Minnie Mouse bed in your house, on your little Disney-esque island. That's what I'm gathering from this.
I'll have to watch that trailer after this because a lot of my skepticism is just because when you mentioned free to play, and we're just like no. I've seen this before. I've worked in the field around free to play games, and it's always just an absolute shit show. It's like, you spent how much?
Right, and that's the interesting thing. How much they're going to monetize it? It's going to be monetized. It's got to be.
Oh yeah, this is going to be.
That's the only way to keep these free-to-play things afloat. Lesh has said here in the chat, if you have Game Pass, it will be free to try if you want to try it. Okay, so... Okay, so if it's Game Pass and it's free to... But overall, it's free-to-play from what it's gathering here. And I'm sure they're going to sell content packs and content DLC for this whole thing to give you a leg
as long as
up.
Content packs as opposed to just if you want to meet Mickey Mouse, you're going to have to spend... Not only $50, but have to gamble for him.
I don't think there'll be too much of that because clearly this is marketed towards kids. I would think.
Okay.
This has got to be marketed towards
then...
kids, 10 to 15. This is what this looks to be marketed for.
All right, so in that case, that's actually a bit of a relief because
because no parent is gonna let their kid rack up $400 in credit card debt.
And even then, gambling laws won't allow a kid's game where it's like, hey, if you want to enjoy this, get your parents' credit card or steal it from them without telling them. Disney would be in a lot of trouble. I know they have the lawyers to back it up, but at the same time, it's something
Disney's not in that game. Like Disney's not in that market either. They don't want
Yeah,
any
they
of that.
made their money. They have money. They don't need to do that. So you know.
Well, they got involved in. Oh no, this was remember Battlefront Part 2 where they had all that monetization gambling stuff. I don't think Disney was involved with Star Wars yet, but you know, it's those kind of situations where Disney does not want to be involved in any of that.
That was more of an EA thing as opposed to Disney anyway.
Disney wants to be a family company and not be associated with gambling or anything. Okay, this is probably going to be more of a clean cut slate free to play thing where you buy content packs and stuff and call it a day.
Yeah, because like that was like the like this 2-year stretch where games like saw because like to provide a bit of like background is I worked for a game publisher and a lot of our the games we published were games that were ported from like localized from China, and a lot of the games over there were these games where like that were so gacha heavy and it requires so much gambling. And back then a lot of games like Battlefront wanted to get in on that. It's like, hey, I think we can like make a lot of money. Who cares what the fans think? They'll like it. They'll spend the money. But they got into so much trouble for that, and the fans absolutely hated it. And like the game was an absolute shit show.
Yeah, and then the government gets involved because like how much are kids actually spending on this stuff, and you know,
yeah,
it's just it's Disney. I can just say Disney's probably not going to want to be involved with it. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on Disney's Dreamlight Valley. You watch, we're all going to be in a 4-way chat with this game talking about how my island's got Star Tours. I'll buy it. If it has Star Tours, I'll buy it. I'm all about it. If they got the Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker saga, you can go buy the Mandalorian Lego men and all that kind of stuff, dude. That stuff's dangerous. I'm over here going to play with a little baby Yoda on my side and all that stuff, and it only cost me $20. This is what I said about the last podcast, you know, find stupid ways to spend money. That's one of them.
Nope.
Do I need this? Yeah, okay, so I don't think so, but they're talking about expansions. So, yeah, see, it may take the Sims approach, too, where they just sell expansion packs. You know, content type packs and stuff like that, which seems to work because the Sims is also a kid-friendly...
Yeah, like
family friendly.
As much as like harp on like how much like all the Sims packs cost, but at the end of the day, there's so much Sims packs, and if they're doing something like that with Disney, where Disney has so much content over so many different IPs, like you have your Pixar, you have Star Wars,
Marvel,
and, you know, and Marvel, the list goes on, and there's so much you can do with it. So you know what, I can fully understand that as long as like, you know, it's sensible and geared more towards kids rather than geared more towards, hey, I hear you have a gambling problem, let's abuse that.
Disney's just feeding my gambling addiction. I'll do it. I'll get so addicted to it, they'll sit me in the meeting, the Gamblers Anonymous. So why are you here? Well, my name's Eric, and I got a gambling problem. I'm hooked on Disney Dreamlight Valley. It started with one roll, and then it just went downhill from there. It cost me my wife, my kids, my mortgage.
All I wanted was just to be the belle of the ball.
Yeah, belle of the ball. Okay, so that's Disney Dreamlight Valley. I'm sure, you know, like I said, Lesh is already looking into this, and I'm gonna guess Hannah is gonna get on board with this too. They're Disney fanatics over there. So
yep, we'll
see Hannah at the Disney Club. You know.
Yeah, they're the Disney, we're the Datney.
Okay, so I asked you about this in the Discord. Like, I am not a Persona expert by any means, and it's not that I don't play them. I don't know which ones to play. Like, I see Persona 4, I see Persona 4 Golden, Persona 5 Royale versus Persona 5. I don't know which one to play. I don't know if they're different versions. I don't know if one's the definitive version. I don't know which ones to play because I want to play these. And now there's a means to play them. Persona is, I think it's Persona 4 Golden is super expensive because it was a PS Vita or something only.
Yeah.
One of those was only a Vita game and it was getting super expensive. Now it's going to Steam too, just so you know. If you don't have a Switch, it's going to be on Steam. And now it's on the Switch. And I'm going to guess it's going to be on PlayStation too.
Yeah, so like it is on PlayStation. As a matter of fact, PlayStation 4 is actually how I was played Persona 5, and it was a very, very solid game. Like,
Yeah.
Like it is a JRPG, but like it's one of those JRPGs that don't do all those JRPG things. Like, yes, there are a bunch of tutorials, but like they do it in a way that's like, hey, this is actually kind of cool what I'm doing, and the art style and like
I'm big
just
on
the overall
art style.
aesthetic of it is so good.
And the music's killer in these games.
It's amazing. And so like, and the reason why this is the biggest announcement and the final announcement on the Nintendo Direct is because Persona 5, not just like the regular one, because the Persona 5 Royal is the deluxe edition where it has extra content. So like if you have Royal, you don't need to get just the normal Persona 5.
Oh, okay. Sense. So Royal is the definitive version of the game. Like it has all the content and okay.
Yeah, and same with the Persona 4 Golden. Like you don't need to get Persona 4.
Okay.
So Persona 5 Royal is launching on Switch this October. And this said that 4 and then 3 are coming soon. Now, because like the game wasn't on the Switch, like that was the big announcement, because people are saying, hey, I want to play this game on the go. Like, honestly, even though I have Persona 5 on my PS4, I think I would actually get it on the Switch. So that way, like if I'm like on a plane ride or train or whatever,
this is why this stuff works. So
boot it up.
I'm one of those ones, if the game is overly long, I will tend to get it on a device that's portable. So like a Switch or something, and hopefully, when Pal gets it and I could steal it, a Steam Deck, and, play some of this. Because like I'm one of those ones, if the game's overly long, I like to be able to play it while I'm like laying in bed or getting ready to go to sleep. I can play, an hour or something, just laying down, chilling, and then turn it off and go to bed. I don't like, and on True Talk, I don't always like sitting at a PC playing games. Sometimes I like sitting on my couch and playing and just chilling, or you go to a park or whatever, or the laundromat. I go to the laundromat and I like to have my Switch with me. These overly long games, because Persona 5 is pretty long. It's like 40 days, 60 hours, maybe even almost 80 from what I hear.
Yeah.
So portable works in those senses. So like the idea that this is, and like I said, just because some of them were so expensive, like Persona 4 Golden was expensive. The idea that you can get it now on the Switch and stuff, and this is like we said earlier, how like these games get released on other platforms and the price starts dropping on the original retro versions, because now there's access to them. So, and then Persona 3 Portable, which I'm gonna guess was the only Persona 3. See, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was for PSP.
Yeah, so I'm going to let the chat here chime in. There's got to be a Persona person in the chat somewhere to let me know which one I should actually start with. Because I hear 4 is the good one, and then 5 is good, but 4 is like the cream of crop one. That's what people have told me.
I think that's what I'm hearing, because my brother is absolutely obsessed with Persona, and I think he actually has them all, if I'm correct. And So he said that 4 is the best one, but at the same time 5 is what got him into it, because Persona is like one of those game franchises where it doesn't matter which one you start, you don't have to play them in order, because they are not connected at all.
Right, they're not connected at all.
Yeah, so which is really good when you have like 5 titles in the series, especially like one is from like I don't remember which console Persona 1 came out, but I do remember my
PlayStation
friend. PlayStation. So like I do remember my friend was into him. So like going from a PlayStation game to like a PS4, like almost a modern console kind of game, is like a big jump to try and like play them all in order, just to like get an idea what the story's about.
Yeah, so I'm glad I like that too, when these these games and they're different stories and plot lines per game, which I wish more games did. It's a new Persona game, but it's a whole different subset of characters and stuff like that, rather than just continuing this long story over 5 games.
Final Fantasy,
Hearts.
Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest are like the same kind of games. Like you can play Dragon Quest 11 or like Final Fantasy 15. As much as I harp on that game, you don't have to play the older games to like get an idea what's going on.
I've never touched a Dragon Quest either.
Honestly, Dragon Quest, even though it is a JRPG, it doesn't feel like a JRPG, because it feels like it, because a lot of it is like obviously like it's the art style matches, like is the art style is, what is it? The same people that did the art for Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
So, but those games feel more like almost like a Western RPG, but it's so simplified. Like, it's easy to learn. It's easy to figure out what's going on. There's no kind of like big gimmicks or anything. It is just classic old school RPG in its finest form. And a lot of the games like really take you on like a really nice adventure. Like, they're long though.
Kid Kalen might be new here, where he was like, "Wow, attack Kingdom Hearts."
That's what we do on this podcast.
That's what I do in life.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just in a mood where I walk into a GameStop and I knock over the Kingdom Hearts display, just like, poof, and then leave.
What the fuck, man? Like,
no, I've never actually
to
done
try
it.
and see if we can get see if we can get fired by Hannah.
Yeah, I just walk into a GameStop and be like, bam, knock that off, and then just leave. That would be TikTok content right there. They're like, what the hell? Like, the hell's this guy's problem? Mega Man Battle Network? I've never touched one of those either. I love Mega Man's, but I've never played a Battle Network.
Yeah, me neither. But the reason why I wanted to like announce it is, well, talk about it is because a lot of people said that this was like a very surprising announcement, because like we haven't really seen anything Mega Man, or at least directly Mega Man, that's not like Mega Man 9 or 10, which is like, it's still done like the NES like 8-bit art style. But like there really hasn't been anything, no new Mega Man games that's been coming out. Like we did have.
I don't know if I'm the only one that thinks this. Sorry to interrupt, but I don't know if I'm the only one that thinks this. But I feel like Mega Man is turning into a mess like Sonic is. I have no idea which Sonic game is what now, and I have no idea which Sonic game is the good one, which one's the bad one, and I'm starting to feel the same way about Mega Man. I remember up to Mega Man
Sonic,
X.
With Sonic, you can at least be rest assured that they're all bad.
Okay.
Sorry. But with Mega Man, it's kind of different, because like there's some that are good despite whatever it is. And apparently what Battle Network did is it was different from anyone that knows the traditional Mega Man, but like it is but I hear that the quality is really good, because I know like some fans that are like, that are absolutely really hyped about this. But the things I want to ask is like, are they ever going to make another new Mega Man game, and something that's not Mighty Number 9? Because have you played Mighty Number 9?
Did I play Mighty Number 9? I don't think I did. I remember the whole concept. Like, it was supposed to be the love. It was by the same guy too, right? Like, that originally did Mega Man. So yeah. And I don't know what happened with it. It was kickstarted and then it fell through something. I don't know.
It got delayed all the oblivion.
So like, yeah, but like I want to get back into Mega Man, and I go and I look online. There's like Mega Man collection this and collection that, and I'm like, just give me one with everything. Mm-hmm. Like charge me $75, $80 for it, but I know I have every game in one thing. And there's some bad ones too, from what I hear. There's a Mega Man one that's on the Xbox. Oh no, that was Sonic. But there's a Mega Man 1 or something, like where you roam around. It's like 3D world, like open world Mega Man or something. I mean,
it was Mega Man Legends or Mega Man 64 if you played it on the N64.
Yeah, something like that, right? But like, that
game was so jank.
Yeah, I'm just in this state now where it's like, I don't know what Mega Man's good. I don't know which one's bad. Like, help me help you, and help me figure out the one to buy so I can give you guys money. I would love to start playing Mega Mans again and get the film. I just remember Mega Man X3, and that was like the last one I remember, and then it just turned into like,
yeah, after that I think they went to like Mega Man 7 or Mega Man 8 for like the PlayStation, and it was done in more like classic style, but obviously I
do remember the Battle Network ones were the Game Boy ones, like they were on Game Boy Advance, I believe.
Yeah. they introduced this thing in the Network collection where it's called the HD filter, and all it really does is it takes like all the pixelated blockiness of the graphics and just smooths it over, and it just looks like shit. It's like, that's not HD.
If you ever
HD.
if you ever use a retro pie, like, you know, you take a Raspberry Top Pi and put like retro arch on it and stuff, it has that filter built in for HD TVs where it smooths out the pixelization, and it literally looks like someone smeared their ass on the game, and like everything's just like a blur now.
Yeah, and I'm here to play Mega Man, not smeared ass man.
Yeah, and I'm like, just leave it. I'd rather have the hard janky edges and just play it that way. The Agent 64 one I was talking about earlier actually has a CRT filter, so it'll put CRT scan lines over it and stuff. It's kind of a wild trip.
That's awesome.
Harvestella. I have no idea what Harvestella is. I missed this when I was watching the direct, so take it away on Harvestella.
So Harvestella looks interesting because not only do the graphics look good, so like Rune Factory, for those of you guys that don't know what it is where it's think Stardew, but obviously 3D. So if you're more hardcore or know your farming sim games, it's like Harvest Moon or Story of Seasons, but there's combat in it. So this one, Harvestella, it looks like a Rune Factory game, but more in Final Fantasy influence, where I think it was showing you where like you could be able to, like, you know, farm crops, build your house, and get to know all the townsfolk, and then the seasons. So then you have to like go out of like the town area and like get resources, but through combat. And then it has like seasons, so obviously your spring, summer, fall, winter. But I think one of the seasons is like the Doom season or Death season. And it's basically where the world looks like it's all corrupted and going to shit. And it is actually dangerous for anyone to go outside of their house. And that's where you need to go on an adventure to try and like stop it, put a stop to the death season. And it actually looks pretty fantastic, and especially with me just watching. Oh, I'm not going to mention this. You know, I'm not even going to mention it, but like it's basically, it's really cool just seeing like a world like corrupted by evil when it's supposed to be like a farming sim with a bit of combat.
I just noticed too. I was looking at it. It's made by SquareSoft, so.
Oh, okay.
It might be on my checkout list. It looks like SquareSoft. I'm like, okay, this looks like. See, I've never done a RuneScape, but I've done the farming. You know, I've done the Farmvilles. I've done your Animal Crossings. I've done your Sims, like type of stuff. So I never did Stardew Valley, but I did do the Animal Crossing stuff. Yeah, so yeah, maybe it's a maybe from me.
Okay.
Maybe from me. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll check this out. Is there a demo for it? Did they say?
I don't think they did.
I don't see anything for a demo. November 4th, Nintendo Switch 2022. I don't see anything about a demo.
Okay. It looks like it's just like, you know, wait until it's out.
Yeah. But I mean, even the Square non-Final Fantasy Square handheld stuff, it's actually really good. What's this? Oh, what's the one the first one? The Octopath Traveler, fantastic game. Loves, you know, that awesome. It looks 2D, but it's mild 3D.
Yeah. And then they came up with Triangle Strategy, which I hear like great things about. It's basically Octopath, but like more Fire Emblem.
Yeah, I was interested in that thing too. Okay, so this Harvestella is also going to be on Steam, so it's not necessarily just on the Switch, because again, this was a third-party direct. So yeah, Harvestella will be on Steam. It'll be on Switch. That's the direct. I'm a little disappointed for being June and what we got, like you were talking about, for what we got for Nintendo. I don't know what the hell their problem is. They skipped the whole 35th anniversary of Zelda.
They didn't even mention it, really.
Their mention was the Skyward Sword HD. That was their announcement, and then the little Game & Watch handheld thing, which was cool, but that's their announcement for Zelda for 35 years or whatever it is. I forget what anniversary it is off the top of my head.
Yeah. They did something special for Mario, like that collection.
That was ass, but...
Yeah, and then what is it, Mario 35?
That was great.
Yeah, that was great.
That was great.
But, like... And then they just did nothing for Zelda, because like I would actually go as far as saying that Zelda right now is more popular than Mario. Well, and it never was like that. Like
here's
Mario
the thing:
was like,
the difference between Mario and Zelda, and I kind of stick to this, is Mario tends to be more marketable to a mainstream audience,
Yeah.
They can do plushies of the different characters, the Bomb, the Princess Zelda, or not Zelda, but Princess Peach. They can do the marketing, the Goomba, all the marketing, the pillow block, all that kind of, it's more marketable to a mainstream audience. Whereas
you're not gonna have Zelda Golf.
Yeah, Zelda Golf's not gonna happen. Zelda is it has the fandom that's just as large as Mario, but I think Zelda is more of a core gamers franchise than Mario is. Mario's more mainstream. And I think that's why. But they have 2 goddamn games that are sitting there that people want off the Wii U and onto the Switch. They want the Twilight Princess. They want the Wind Waker HD. They have them. They just need to port them. Why have they not done it?
Yeah, this was this was the perfect time for them to announce something, and they didn't do it. I mean, it's cool that they had it, because that was, as far as third-party titles go, that was actually a pretty solid direct, but. For overall the feeling, because as mentioned earlier, that Sony, Microsoft, all these companies, they made their move, and Nintendo, as far as their first party, yes, we know that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's coming out, Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be coming out next year, but still the details are vague.
Yeah.
And then there's Splatoon in September. Other than that, and then there's Bayonetta. What the hell else is coming?
There's the Metroid, was it Metroid Prime 4 has been delayed. There was rumors of the Metroid Prime remasters or HD remakes or whatever for the Switch. We haven't seen those yet. I would love to buy those. I would love to play those again, but I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we hear this a lot where it's the Switch is getting long in the tooth. We need a Switch, 2 or a Switch Pro or whatever. Yes, technology-wise, the Switch is getting long in the tooth, but here's the problem. Nintendo still sells Switches.
Yeah.
As long as Nintendo keeps selling Switches at a rapid rate, there is no need for them to release an updated full-on hardware revision. The OLED's not a hardware revision, with the exception or not a full. If you're familiar with PCs, Intel uses the tick-tock terminology. There's a tick and there's a tock. The tock is the big one, that's architecture change, et cetera, and then tick is a incremental upgrade. So there's no reason for Nintendo to do a talk upgrade with a Switch 2 Pro, full, 4K HD, all kinds of this, because they're still selling the normal Switch at a rapid rate. They just throw an OLED screen in it and charge the same price, and people keep buying it. You're still getting the same hardware, you're just getting a better screen and a better battery, maybe. But as long as they keep selling that, there's no reason to go through the research and development of unleashing another Switch. They're going to have to, because it's getting to the point where they're starting to hit the limitations of the hardware.
Yes, because all consoles, they go through a cycle where it's okay. So if they are not preparing for a new console, or not trying to market a new and upcoming console, then their focus should be obviously on the games. But Nintendo hasn't really I really hope there's a July direct.
I'm hoping too.
Because I really felt that they missed out on a great opportunity. I get it. There's no E3. There's no, and they don't have to do. They didn't need to do a big direct because there's no E3. But at the same time, people did something, that they announced stuff. Nintendo hasn't really announced anything. So I'm happy for my Xenoblade fan friends
out there.
I'm happy for people that like the stuff that's coming out on the partner direct, but there's just that feeling where I'm going to be that spoiled Nintendo brat, and I'm where the fuck's my games at?
Give me my Zelda remasters, please, so I can finally play them and not have to carry a Wii U around.
We should be getting information on the new Mario Kart DLC soon, right?
Right. That we need that. Bring Metroid Prime. Bring this stuff. I don't need. There was also that rumor of 3-4 Switch 1-2, and then their sequel was 3-4. I don't care. I don't need 3-4 Switch. All right. We have Wii Sports now, or Switch Sports, whatever they want to call it. They have a problem giving people what they want. Now, there's this other interesting thing, if you think about it too. It's all the major releases for the year have been pushed to next year. Starfield's next year. we're waiting on God of War, which I don't know if God of War is going to make it this year or not. Because it begs the question, well, if the big game like Starfield's not coming till next year, or, the big Xbox, which would be the big Xbox game, or, if these major releases aren't coming this year and they're delayed, does Sony or Nintendo really need to pull out their big hitter this year? You know what I mean? Like, do they really need to pull out their big hitter this year and sell it like crazy? Or can they hold off and wait till next year and then put more effort into it and wait for it to compete with the other game? Because in the end, they want you buying consoles. Unless you're Microsoft, they want you buying Game Pass.
Yeah.
So that's the question too. Nintendo may be in the same boat where it's kind of like, do we need to throw out all these heavy hitters? But then again, Nintendo has always beat to their own drum. Nintendo's not your conventional console company anymore. They do what they want when they want, and they'll do. But like, I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Like, there's something people want, release it, you have it, sell it.
They're still a little tone deaf at times, though. And that's the thing that bothers me.
I think they're a company that's been around so long and has done so well for so long that they kind of live at their own. They are the I don't know if people recognize, they are the Sears of video games. Like, Sears did its thing, and they felt no threats from anybody, and then Amazon came and like started changing the script, and then Sears went under. Nintendo's not going to go under. They've made more than enough money off the original Wii to keep them afloat, and not to mention the 3DS, and they have enough money. They're not going anywhere. But it frees them up this opportunity to do they want. But the problem is, we as a Nintendo fan base keep letting them do it. Where it's like, oh, well, you're not going to give me this. Okay, I'm going to buy another Switch anyway. Oh, there's a Zelda release Switch packed with Breath of the Wild 2. I don't need another Switch, but I'm going to buy it because it's like there. They're eventually going to wake up and then, catch up with everything. They're eventually going to do it. It's just they have to. They have no choice to stay in business,
Yeah. It's just, I really hope they announce something soon. There was nothing for me really this month.
Now, granted, the price points are different, but the Steam Deck is a threat to the Nintendo Switch in a way. Because now Steam has their own portable device that has access to a multitude of games, that people already own.
Yep.
So it's just like, oh, okay, I just get the Steam Deck, I load this on my Steam Deck, and boom, now I can play, Elden Ring portable, and and now people aren't playing the Nintendo Switch or buying the Nintendo Switch necessarily to play those games because they can get a Steam Deck and get way more out of it.
Well, I'll tell you this much: a move like that, especially if Nintendo sees like how much, like how much like Steam this gets. Well, pun not intended, but like the more success that the Steam Deck gets, the more Nintendo is focused to work on either not only their next piece of hardware, but also their games as well. Like, I would even, like, if I was Nintendo, I would be increasing the size of my studios, because it's like, all right, we gotta get the fuck going here. We need some games. Because if we don't have games for people to play, people are. Because a lot of people that got all the exciting Nintendo games that came out this year, like your Kirby, great, I love it. Pokemon Legends Arceus. What else came out this year?
Metroid Dread, and Metroid Dread.
All those games, people are already finished, and now they're like,
what's next?
What's next? And oops, you didn't make any announcements. Well, I'm gonna go play my shiny new Steam Deck.
Yeah. I think what's going to be scary is if Microsoft and Steam, I'm not saying this is happening, but if Microsoft and Steam found out a way to work together and get Game Pass on the Steam Deck, then Nintendo's in even bigger trouble.
Yeah.
In terms of that market that pays for that hardware. Because, the Steam Deck is $600, but you have way more access to a multitude of games on top of that thing. And then if there's a Game Pass and stuff involved, then it's a big deal. Sony's in trouble with it too. I ultimately think, it's crazy to think, but I think Steam is going to have their own little console-based box soon enough. They tried it once before and it didn't do very well. But now that they have the Steam Deck and now that Linux integration's working a lot better for them and stuff like that, then I think there's an option now. I would love to not have a big standing PC under my 4K TV. And just have a little box Gives you access to your library, and then boom, go. Like, it would be great.
Yep.
It's stuff's getting wild. Let's close out some news items here, but that's the Nintendo Direct. We'll see what happens. Did I want something better? Yes. Are we going to get it? Probably not.
Yeah, we shall see.
It's going to probably be July or August or something. Eventually, I noticed Nintendo does that too. They kind of see like the response to things and they're like, oh, let's crank out another Direct next month that gives the people what they want.
Yeah, because like most people that I know is kind of like, you fuckers.
Yeah. So, and speaking of fuckers, Activision and the board has reelected Bobby Kotick as CEO up until 2023. So,
hey, remember last episode where I made this kind of analogy where we should take Bobby Kotick to the fires of Mount Doom and toss him in from whence he came?
Yeah.
This is the equivalent of Frodo and Sam getting to the fires of Mount Doom, and then Smeagol going, "No, I want something, my precious," or something like that. And then there's like, you know what? You can have it for a year. And then Sauron like fucking nukes Mount Doom and destroys everything. So I don't know what they were thinking of bringing this guy on for another year after everything. Like they could just save their image just by just saying, no, we're not bringing you back on. We didn't fire you, but no, we're not bringing you back on. And they didn't do it. I'm so sorry.
Here's the thing. Like so I'll be realistic with you. Do I agree with this decision? Obviously not. But I'll tell you what I think is going on here. And this is just from my own personal experience working in a corporation, like a huge company, and experience working with other companies that are in these kind of like corporate boats. It's in their best interest right now is to not disrupt anything up until the Microsoft deal goes through. Because remember, the Microsoft deal goes through, those shareholders get paid out. Those board members get paid out, et cetera, because they all have vested interest in it. They have cash in this, right? So it's in their best interest to have the guy, despite all the news that's happening, because let's be realistic, once Microsoft absorbs them, in a couple of years, everything that happened with Bobby Kotick and all that kind of stuff is going to become back burner. Because it's now a Microsoft deal, right? And now the focus is on how Microsoft handles these situations. So it's in their best interest as the shareholders and the board members, et cetera, is to keep the guy in until the Microsoft deal goes through. Because he's the one navigating it. He's, and all that kind of stuff. And all getting that deal through is that board's primary interest right now. So they can all get paid out and move on with their lives. Do I see Bobby staying on and going through to and working at Microsoft as so-and-so? No, I think he's gone. I think he's done once, Phil Spencer has the reins of everything, and I think that dude's done.
Yeah, like once it comes down to Microsoft, he's good as gone.
Yeah.
But Activision Blizzard, like this is more just like a slap in the face of anyone.
Oh, it's a gigantic slap Blizzard. In the face. That I agree with.
Because I know my fair share of friends that are still playing Blizzard games despite all the shit that it's come out in the last year. But even more fans like, okay, that's it. I'm walking away from these games after they announced that they brought them on for another year.
I'm in the boat where it's like I'll play the games I have, but I refuse to give them any more money. I will not give them any more money until, and that's WoW subscription Overwatch. I will not buy any of those loot boxes. None of that. I will not pay for any new content from them. But I will play what I have because there's still a team of people that worked hard to make those games.
Yeah, I still have Diablo 2, and I probably might fire it up the day that Microsoft takes over.
Right. And that's just my personal opinion. Like I said, the decisions you make, if you want to play those games and you have a special, attachment to those games for whatever reasons they may be, you are welcome to want to play it. I'm not judging you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm never want to be that person that gatekeeps people. It's like, how dare you still play these games despite that? You do whatever you want with the time.
Yeah, it's all personal. I don't feel right. It's all personal opinion to myself. And that's honestly why I don't go out with Twitter on a bunch of my opinions about this kind of stuff. Like this whole activity, everyone's up in an uproar. Oh, blah, 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 this is a slap. Yeah, I know it's a slap in the face, I get, but I understand why they did what they did, because their whole idea is they just want to get paid out and move on. You know, that's the end goal for them. Get paid, move on. Bobby Kotick goes to his island with his millions of dollars and blah, 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 billions of dollars. And, you know, he hopefully chokes on a peanut butter sandwich like Elvis, you know, like just I get it. So to answer the thing, like, am I upset it happened? Yeah. Am I surprised? No. Because it doesn't make much sense to throw the guy out for them when he's orchestrating this deal to get them all millions of dollars, you know.
Yeah. Like the guy literally looks like Smeagol too. Like anytime he just like talks, I'm just thinking Smeagol.
Yeah, he's definitely a bottom of the barrel in terms of quality.
Yeah.
He's definitely not doing it. And then on top of this whole thing, Activision has come out and said they absolve themselves of any wrongdoing as a result of internal, you know, internal investigations. This is a bunch of crap.
We investigated ourselves, and we found that we've done absolutely no wrongdoing. It's basically like, I shot a man, my hands are covered in blood, but I washed my hands and found no evidence that I did anything wrong. So therefore, I'm innocent.
I'm innocent. That's basic. Yeah, Zenith put it perfectly. Oh,
sakes. Jesus.
Zenith put it perfectly. Like, oh, I see nothing wrong here. And then they turn around and walk away. Of course they're going to do that. You know, companies like this, they're not going to admit to...
Yeah.
Until the government says and the law and everything says they did, they are not going to admit to it. You know, that happened, because I don't think that investigation thing is done. There's no aftermath to it because Microsoft came in and bought it out. At least from what I can remember. If someone has, you know, links to it or somewhere wants to update us on it, that's perfectly fine. But I don't recall there being any end result of that whole thing, because Microsoft stepped in and kind of like bought it and they're sweeping it away.
Yeah. Like, I'm surprised they didn't have... you know, to at least do some kind of, or like even like a government issued investigation of him, where like, all right, forget about the internal investigation that the company's having. We're gonna have an external, because it's basically like, Eric, I pooped on your bed, and you think, and you know what, I did it, but therefore I hired myself to look after him. To tell you, looking at it, like, Eric, I am going to find out who, if anything happened, and I didn't do it, and then I basically just throw away the bed sheets and I replace that. Not even that. The turd's still there on the bed.
Are you calling yourself
like,
Legend of Herd?
Nothing was done wrong. It was not even my fault.
Is that your new handle online? Is it gonna be Legend of Herd because you just pooped on my bed and then admitted to not doing it?
Yeah.
You know. And I was like, but yeah, that's, again, no surprise there. No, they're not going to admit what they don't have to. When the government comes out and it's all said and done and the law has done its hammer and they say, hey, yeah, you did this, then they'll have to issue the statement for it or whatever. But no company's going to come out and be like, oh, yeah, we totally did it. We totally sexually harassed a bunch of employees, didn't handle our HR proceedings correctly, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That was actually, if the article was cited on, I cited the article from GameIndustry.biz if you are interested in that article. Same with the Bobby Kotick one. The idea is, the main details is their investigation. So how did HR handle it? Did HR ignore it or delay investigation on it? It's basically, how did HR handle the situation? And they're coming out and saying, oh, well, we don't see anything done wrong. Again, surprise, surprise, you know, they're not going to admit to anything. This is one of those companies that's just, they're the definition of evil company of the definition of evil company. Just like, ha 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 ha, you know, they're the Mr. Burns of video games, you know, like what nuclear waste, you know, like, you know, like they're the Mr. Burns of video games, them and EA, you know. But yeah, but like, again, the Bobby Kotick thing, it was going to go through. They were not going to throw the guy out in the middle of a major merger like this that's worth billions of dollars, 69 billions of dollars, you know? They're not going to.
I got to ask you, if one of those companies is C. Montgomery Burns, which one is the corrupt mayor?
Which one's the corrupt mayor?
Yes.
That would be the EA. I think the EA would be the corrupt mayor.
Because I literally think there was an episode on The Simpsons where he's like, I've therefore investigated myself and found no wrongdoing.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be like the EA.
Too.
That would be like the EA. The EA would probably be the corrupt mayor, and then, the Mr. Burns. Activision's the Mr. Burns. It all works out in the same. They're all the same people, Mm-hmm. And then in the final end of the Blizzard Activision news, so they've come out and said, this is according to The Verge, that Overwatch 2, once it launches, is going to replace Overwatch 1. So Overwatch 2 will be the live service game now, and Overwatch 1 will kind of be phased out and cease to exist. Overwatch 2, from what we discussed in the last episode, is free to play. Okay. But what about me, who spent $60 on top of all the loot boxes and all on top of that other crap? What happens to that stuff? Zenith's just laughing.
Well, I think that confirms everyone's theory that it's literally just the exact same game with just a bit of a slight graphical upgrade.
Yeah,
more like a downgrade as you go from like €6 down to 5.
That's the okay. So someone here in the chat mentioned that it gets transferred as far as they know. Okay, so I'll look for confirmation on that if it does transfer. But I still spent $60 on the first game. You're telling me I can't play it anymore once Overwatch 2 launches?
Basically, you get like a handwritten letter from Blizzard saying, thank you, your money got me a new house. Therefore, go fuck yourself. Play our new game. It's free.
Oh, by the way, we re-elected Bobby Kotick as CEO.
Yeah, exactly. Because fuck you.
Yeah. Thank you for being a Blizzard customer. We appreciate you. Game on. That kind of shit. And it's just
like a printed out letter with like Bobby Kotick's like ass stain right on the letter.
Just this ass stain. Does he do a different ass stain like on every letter?
Yeah, he's handed like a bunch of papers and just like, all right, I just came back from a jog. Let's go. I'll sit on
I want to meet the person that gets the crumpled up letter because Bobby Kotick like smushed it in his ass cheeks and then just stuffed it in.
It's like, oops, I clenched.
Yeah, it almost stuffs it in an envelope. He makes like a little like paper flower out of it, just crunching it in his ass. But like, yeah. They're pulling a D2, yes. And I'll bet you anything Overwatch 2 is going to be like D2 where it just lives on and lives on and lives on until it's too long in the tooth to actually functioning.
Yeah. The thing is though, like D2, like Diablo 2 is
no Destiny much 2, like not Diablo 2, Destiny 2.
Sorry. Okay.
It's okay. They both have D in it.
Well, I took that the wrong way. So pretty much I like with Diablo 2 because I don't play Destiny. Like they actually like the original Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction, it is now like merged with the brand new Diablo 2 remake, which is Diablo 2 Resurrected. So it's still essentially the exact same game, and and that's fine because people know that it's just a graphical upgrade of a game that's been out for many generations. They don't need to do anything technically fancy about it. The game is just perfect on its own, and hey, it comes with a graphical upgrade, which is great. Overwatch 2, people were talking about, Overwatch 2, it's gonna be new, it's gonna be great, new heroes, new modes.
It's time, yeah.
Why the fresh fuck is it the exact same thing?
Well, to their credit, I think they needed to do something to take the heat off this whole sexual allegation thing, and just be like, yeah, drop Overwatch 2, we'll figure it out later,
So their definition of doing something is literally changing nothing.
You and I have been playing games for a very, very long time. We know how this community thinks nowadays.
Yep.
Or it's like, oh, okay, Overwatch 2. That I forgot about everything. Let me go play Overwatch 2 now. It's literally just spoon feed them what they want,
Yeah.
until, they forget about what happened,
Like, I know like so many people love the Overwatch and people are like excited for this, but like someone that's just jaded and just thinking you guys have like an absolute just PR nightmare on your hands, and this is your answer to like fix this mess. Come on.
The problem is like Activision can't just disappear. It's not like they can take a year or two hiatus. Like they just can't do that. This is not like, this is not like Metallica or something like that where they're like, oh yeah, we're going to take a break for a year or two. And then, we'll come back. Like
Overwatch prints money.
Yeah, Activision is a company that needs to continue to stay afloat, pay its staff, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and Bobby Kotick makes the money. That's why he's still around.
Right. He just keeps making the money. Now, you as a consumer can be like, oh, I could break this and not give them my money.
Yeah.
But again, gamers are a fickle bunch where they'll just be like, yeah, they sexually harass a bunch of women. You know what? But Overwatch 2 looks great. I'm going to go.
They don't care what Bobby Kotick does. He could be out in like the front lobby giving hand jobs to literally anyone that walks in through the front door. They're not going to give a fuck.
Yeah. Someone in the chat said he can be the one that doesn't make the money. But, but that would involve the community itself going like, you know what? We really should tell this guy to fuck himself and not buy these games. Yeah. But then again, on top of that, and then it's a double-edged sword, though, because then the development team loses their jobs, and then it turns into a bigger mess, It's a very fickle line to walk. This is not something you see all that often. We're just seeing it now because it's something of epic proportions. It's not like every company every year goes out and has a bunch of sexual harassment allegations that were literally investigated by the government. Now, keep in mind, every company has sexual harassment allegations. Down to the one guy that made a pass at somebody that was unwanted, and then it turns into an investigation between those two parties. But this is the first time I've heard about where it's the government's involvement in it, and like, yeah, you guys have a major issue. They basically ran the black light over that company and found jizz everywhere. So it's like, Jesus Christ, like, what do they do? I don't even know what they do. If I was Bobby Kotick's position, I'd be like, oh crap, I'm screwed. I
don't think he's worried. Because he's
a man of no moral.
When he's obviously like that we know that much for sure, because otherwise he would have stepped down. But like after all that, once Microsoft is done, I'm calling it. He's getting a big buyout or payout. Yeah. Just so they can just fuck off and just live on the moon.
And here's the other thing too. Like if they were to fire him, I don't know what his contract says, but now it's a debate of like, well, we just keep him through and pay out what his severance is, or do we get him out now and have to pay, lawyers and legal fees and all this kind of stuff because of the contract breach, and then pay him what he wants, because now terms like damages come into play. Oh. We cost him his livelihood because we took him off the board as CEO and da-da-da-da-da. He needs to find a job, all this kind of stuff. He's got this crap looming over his head. So like now, what do they do? Or is it just like wait it out a year? His contract, with us expires. We pay him his severance, and he's, goes and zip lines into a cliff somewhere.
Yeah. Did you see the document? Because back when these allegations were coming out, someone posted a document, and it was like a spreadsheet, and it was showing like what they can do with Bobby Kotick and his contract, like if they either buy him out or if he was fired or anything like that. Regardless of whatever Activision Blizzard does, if they let go of Bobby Kotick, they are financially fucked.
Right.
Because they're going to have to be paying him so many millions.
Right.
Just to push him out the door.
He locked himself in a cushy
His contract is ridiculous. Like, yeah, it's like he knew that's like something like this, like they wouldn't be able to get him out.
Yeah, no, he locked himself in a cushy gig. That's why he's a CEO making billions of dollars. Like, he knows what he's doing. As much as of a shit stain as he is, he knows what he's doing. And we can't I can't be like, yeah, no, you know what you're doing. You're shit stained, but you know what you're doing. So there you go. On that note, that's the end of the episode here. Bobby Kotick's a shit stain, and he's on for another year. And then Overwatch 2. Your Overwatch 1 is now useless once they drop Overwatch 2. So Yeah,
but like. To try and put it into his pause spin, because like I like we mentioned Overwatch 2, and I think if we just like took turns just like kind of like shitting on it. Not that I'm saying that the game's going to be shit. It's just like when Overwatch 2 was announced, forget all about all this. I would think that they would have been doing more. Like it does sound like there's like going to be like more game modes and more like single player campaigns. It's just Overwatch feels like an unfinished project,
it is an unfinished project. It was something they cranked out the door to take the attention off what was actually going on. Because you notice out of nowhere, no one heard about Overwatch 2 again until this shit happened, and they're like, all of a sudden it's Overwatch 2, Overwatch 2, Overwatch 2. Yeah,
like something's gone afoul when Jeff Kaplan like jumps off board and doesn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah. It's a mess. But on that note, as we close out here, there's tons of games you can be playing. And you don't need to give these people your money if you don't want to. I'm sure all of us here have some insane, stupid backlog of games to play, that will only grow because we still got Steam Summer Sale until the end of the week, I believe. So go spend money. But on that note, yeah, we're going to head out of here. Fun episode today. Lots of stuff to talk about. We always tell ourselves we're going to watch the time. We're going to watch the time. We're going to watch the time. And
we went on for hours.
Yeah. Well, we got into stuff we didn't need to talk about, like shit staining letters and, stamp of approval, ass stamp of approval, mustaches on ball sacks. It's all in there for you. Again, you can find this show on Apple, Spotify. I think it's on Google Podcasts now. I got to double check that whole list. But, your two favorite podcast listening to choice. The YouTube is up. It's not very decorative yet, but I think it's socials. Oh, is it not social? Is it media? Social media. There you go. Social media. And of course, I don't have the YouTube link in there, but we'll get the YouTube link up. You can find us in YouTube there. First episode's up. This one will be up there shortly. We're working on artwork. We're working on that fun stuff. We're going to actually make this look like, a legit show. We're getting there. We kind of moved into the apartment and we haven't put the decorations up yet. We're in that mode right now. We're working on it. We're unpacking boxes. But on that note, we will be back in... Where's my clock? Oh, my calendar. Oh, God. So we will be back on not the 11th, the one after the 11th. We are the first and third weekend of the month. So we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Okay, so 16th?
Yeah, the 16th. That sounds right. We'll be back on the 16th with another episode for you guys. We're going to go ahead and we're going to bow out of here. Guys, if you've been listening, thank you so much. If you're watching us on Twitch, we appreciate you. Exclamation point social media in the chat. If you want to get the links to the Twitter, the Instagram, the Twitch channel. If you like what you saw here on Twitch, feel free to follow the channel. We appreciate it. We're trying to grow it. So show the love, drop the follows, go follow the YouTube channel once I get it put up there. And we will catch you guys soon. I'm Eric Anthony. That was your cues.
And I'm Zenith. Hello.
We'll catch you guys on the 16th. You guys have a great one, and we'll talk to you later.